Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. Right, hello everyone. Welcome to 4Player Podcast, episode 504. My name is Nick.
Don't you mean 4Player Podcast?
No, I'm going to stop you right there. My name is Nick Henderson. I am joined this evening. Actually, we have 5 people on the couch right now. I don't think that's going to be the case for the entire show. But joining me directly to my right, and actually we're butting shoulders here. We're rubbing shoulders a little bit. Am I right? It's Carlos.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos is going to be sharing a mic with myself and Brad, so just make sure you lean one way or another when you say something. Hello, Brad!
Yo!
How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing fine.
Nolan Hedstrom is also here.
How's it going, everybody?
And Christopher Guthridge.
Hello!
And video games. We've got stuff to talk about. It's pretty... I think we're all kind of in the mood to talk about one game in particular.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Absolutely, I did see that.
That was a really good movie.
I did not like it as much as the first one.
Really? What? I thought
it
was... I don't think it was like head and shoulders better than the first one, but I think I liked it a little more than
it
the
was
first
at
one.
least knees and toes
It was
better than
funny.
the
That
first
blue
one.
chick sucked.
I will give it this. It was funny. It had...
No,
Definitely
she's
doing
not.
a voice.
It wasn't that. It wasn't
She
that.
was just doing a voice. It
What
was
do you-
bad.
Wait, who are you talking about?
The blue chick. She
Nebula.
was
I was
bad.
talking about Karen
Every time she
Gillan.
talked, I was like, come on. Like, why is
She was in the first one.
Because she's Scottish.
But she was way less in the first one.
She was trying to do an American kind of robot actress voice thing, but
she was doing a little bit of a Christian Bale Batman.
kind of.
Yeah, it's because they're both non-English speakers who are trying... Or non-American English speakers who are trying to inflect an American accent.
Yeah.
It sounds
Regardless,
weird.
She sucked. It was cool when she, like, you know.
I don't know.
Oh,
fixed
yeah,
herself.
when all her bones were broken.
That shit was pretty
Oh,
cool.
my God.
But, yeah.
That was not okay.
I'm surprised. Never mind. I thought it was good.
It was really
No
good.
one's saying it's bad.
I know.
Really good.
Nick is like coming to grips with like, what is this feeling? This thing I watched and played is not amazing.
I guess.
I'll save
Carlos,
it.
you watched
I
it?
agree.
Karen Gillan is the blue chick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with you, Nick. Though
No,
like,
I haven't seen it.
I think I may have liked that first one a little bit more, but
I just think it was sloppy when compared to the first one.
Sloppy seconds.
I just didn't feel like the writing was nearly as tight as the first one.
All right.
I do agree. With
Dude,
that.
Save it
because,
for
like-
a different show.
Drax was funny.
Drax is always... Dude,
He's
Drax
always
is like my favorite character in that fucking movie.
what?
What about that baby Groot?
Fuck Baby Groot. It's all about Drax, man.
He's too fragile. Please don't. Fuck him.
BB Groot.
It's weird.
Also-
because Baby Groot is obviously for the children going to see the movie, but then like Arrow dude's like killing all
Can
these
somebody-
people. They're like jumping back and forth between those
Yondu?
two. It was a little like all over the place in terms
Can somebody
of tone.
please explain to me how Vin Diesel is still credited as playing Groot?
Because he did the
He
voice.
did actually do
He
that.
does
like,
the voice
what?
in all the languages.
They
But
just-
like anybody could have done that voice.
But a lot
But
of
he
nobody
did
did.
yeah, but Vin Diesel did.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, how much are they paying just to say that? Just so Vin Diesel could say he's in a Marvel movie? Because that is not a voice that Vin Diesel needs to
He's
do.
It's
done that kind
almost
of
like-
thing before. He voiced the Iron Giant.
Yeah, he
which
was
has,
Iron
like,
Giant.
6 lines of dialogue.
No. The point was he was a good fit for the original Groot. This is just kind of like extending a joke. Or
Yeah.
it's funny to have Vin Diesel be the voice. You're right. Anybody could have been Vin Diesel, but they even in the credits they kind of like pointed out as like I feel like it was given a little extra
Guys,
like split second of like, dude, Vin Diesel's Baby Groot, isn't that crazy?
by the way, I have never in my life finished a movie and had to pee worse
That was a
in
long
my
ass
life.
movie.
No,
than when I saw no, but like for whatever reason I was like whatever, I'll hold out. I was watching it, I was enjoying myself, so I was like, you know what, I'll just wait. The movie kind of went on a little longer than I expected.
like
I had to
2
pee
hours
so
and
bad.
15
I know the
had
perfect
to
time
pee.
to go.
I had to pee so bad, and I knew this going in. There are 5 post-credit scenes in this movie, and they don't do them one. They don't go boom, 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 boom. They show you one. They scroll credits for like 2 or 3 minutes. They show you another one. It was the most excruciating credit sequence of my life.
Man, how about the big tease at the end?
I missed it. I finally gave out and went to go pee, so I don't even.
I have peed advice. Pee advice from Brad. Maybe we should do this more often.
Get
This
a
should be a
catheter.
regular segment on the podcast.
I would pee during the movie,
In a cup.
and I recommend going when I went, and that's when after Blue Chick and Green Chick were fighting, they were talking for a while. I walked out and I came back, and I felt like I missed nothing.
Probably the case.
But what if
So
you did,
after
though?
Blue Chick and Green Chick finish fighting, go pee.
Wait, who is Green Chick?
There's only one Green
Oh,
Chick.
Gamora. Okay, gotcha. You're right. Sorry.
Alright.
I kept thinking about the what's her face, the girl with the little antennas.
Oh, yeah. What's
I was like,
her-
she's not green.
What was her name?
Mantis.
Mantis.
Sorry.
Like, the funny thing was, is towards the end of the movie, I was like, yeah, that lady we just saw, that's Michelle Yeoh. I didn't think that's kind of a weird thing for her. And like Brenda thought I was talking about the Mantis the whole time, and she was like, she looks too young to be Michelle Yeoh. And I was like, no, the only.
Oh, yeah, what is... Well, I guess
Yeah.
that's a spoiler. We can't talk about
Yeah.
that, but it seems like they're doing like some sort of weird spin-off thing.
I don't know. Whatever.
Maybe.
Anyway.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's one of the
Anyway.
credit scenes.
Which I missed two
Wait,
of them.
which one?
Anyway.
I missed 2 out of 5.
So Flash is getting really fucking
all right.
weird.
What are we? This is a video game.
Bruce Willis walks in the scene. All right, let's go.
What is this, Mad Libs?
No.
God damn it, guys.
I'm
Oh, I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about now. Yeah.
All right.
We only have Carlos in our possession for a short amount of time. I do want to read feedback from last week's episode.
Oh, what we got?
Just a reminder, guys, if there's anything that we talk about on this podcast that you're listening to with your ears right now, you're welcome to chime in, leave us a comment on the site at 4playernetwork.com. We will read these comments at the beginning of every episode. I'm going to read the first bit of feedback from Equack. His name is Equack. He says, Nick, Far Cry is actually a really good game on PC. Carlos,
Well, there you go, Nick.
I did mention briefly last week that I have never played the original Far Cry.
I'm pretty much. I told you to play it on PC. I said it's.
I will only believe that if
They
it comes out of
released like a fixed version on Xbox 360 as well, Far Cry Classic.
Hey, Carlos.
Wasn't it
How about you talk at the mic? You like turn your head slightly and like we're like kind of like a little.
For effect.
There you go.
Wait, but wasn't the one on the 360 like not good?
No, they made a better one.
Yeah, no,
Really?
they made like a downgraded version of the actual.
You,
I mean,
you
I have-
can't go back to that version though.
I
you
have
play
a
the PC,
PC.
version on your current PC, it'll look infinitely better than anything you get on console.
I have
play
a
that
PC that can run it. I'll play it on PC
For
at some
sure.
point. He says, Nick, Far Cry is actually a really good game on PC. Structurally, it's different from the later ones, but the levels are large enough that you should still have a lot of freedom in how you approach them. Just be warned that it's quite a difficult game, and there's also an AI bug on the latest Steam version, which can be fixed. Also, he says he started watching Buffy because of me, which I'll leave that comment out, but thank you. I appreciate that. Calum B90 says, hey guys, I've been interested in Little Nightmares for quite some time, and hearing your positive impressions on the game has certainly made me add it to my already far too long must-play games of 2017
I know how
list.
that feels.
Yes, welcome to our world. So thank you very much for that. He says, Nick, are you sure you didn't mean Nightmare Before Christmas when it comes to the game? What the game reminds you of thematically? And I did. I mentioned Beetlejuice when we were talking about Little Nightmares last week. Little Nightmare Before Christmas is probably another great example. I mean, it could be any one of those things. Just I think those two movies, in fact, have a lot in common in certain ways. So yes, I would agree with you there. Wait, Crispy, you look like you're. I'm sorry. Am I pushing a button, Crispy?
Nah.
I just think what you're feeling is Tim Burton doing his shtick over and
Tim
over
Burton
again.
things.
Oh, it's almost like
Yeah,
you want to
well,
talk
I mean,
about your feelings on Tim
I did
Burton
specifically
instead of-
I did specifically reference Tim Burton as a
And
very
that
clear
and there's
influence.
a lot of black and white stripes in both movies.
Yes, but I mean,
Both
like
the main
But
characters
if you
wear
play
black
Little
and white
Nightmares,
stripes.
you'll see a lot of
Black and
things
white
that make you
stripes.
think of things that make you think of like visually Nightmare Before Christmas or the I'm like when I say Beetlejuice, I'm thinking about the parts where they're like stretching their faces and doing
Yeah.
like crazy shit with their faces, and they don't look like real people, like that kind of shit. And there's
Well,
a lot
Nick,
of
they
that
weren't-
in Little
How do you
Nightmares.
really
were
feel
dead,
about Tim Burton,
so-
Crispy?
Meh.
I'm just kidding. Let's go.
He says, I think there's no doubt that Little Nightmares is very much influenced by Tim Burton's obscure gothic horror, which I think many of us have had an unsettling fascination with since our younger days. P.S. Why the sudden shade thrown at Dinde? He can heal people with his magic hands.
Through shaded Dinde?
I think we both said fuck Dinde last week.
What? Yeah, maybe I
Didn't
did.
we? Didn't
I'm
we?
pretty sure-
Nolan?
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure we
I think
did.
Nolan and I both gelled on
Yeah.
fuck Dinde.
Tobley says,
He
I'm
flew
not...
so slow.
What?
They're like, Dende, deliver this information, go! And it take him like 4 episodes to get there, and Frieza like flies past.
Well, it also
him
took
and-
4 episodes for 30 minutes to
know.
pass. Or 5 minutes to pass in that show. It's fucking weird.
Fucking Dende.
Fucking everything about that show. Not that I don't love that show.
Speaking of, in the latest episode of Flash, like spoilers, like Barry temporarily loses his memory, and like they're trying to like jog it, and like, oh, you liked this and you liked this, and she was like, oh, you were an anime club, you love Dragon Ball Z, and they're like talking about this, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, that
That's
seems
weird.
like
It's a
random.
Weird reference. Tobley says, I'm not sure how I feel about the prospect of playing Darksiders 3. You guys don't sound so hot on it either. I played through 1 and 2, and they were fine. The first one was a box of broken toys thrown at a wall. The second one devolved into long chains of fetch quests, which I hope they will try to avoid. Is there... I guess I'm really confused, because I feel like when Darksiders 1 and 2 came out, the reception of those games was actually pretty positive. But everywhere I look, people talking about Darksiders 3 are always referencing their feelings to Darksiders 1 and 2 and being like pretty down on those games. What is the deal with that?
I don't think it's. I don't know.
I
like,
really enjoyed
I
those
kind of
games.
feel that's exactly how I feel about Darksiders. Like at the time, playing 1 and 2, they were both like, "Hey, these are competent, fun games," but like they weren't anything to make me excited for a sequel.
I'll tell you what it was. It's coming from 2 different places, and that's why it might seem like it's overwhelming. You had people with the original Darksiders go, I mean, this seems okay, but everyone's acting like this is like a fucking amazing. And then when Darksiders 2 came around, you had a different dissenting opinion of people going, oh, this one's really great, and then people going, well, I preferred that first game. So there's like this weird negativity from 2 different directions on both games that aren't necessarily related, but usually the people who kind of poo-pooed 2 actually really like 1, while the people who really like 2 maybe didn't like 1 as much, or liked them both. It doesn't really matter.
Do you think this could be a situation,
usually
though, where
poo-poo
everyone's
too.
kind of like, I feel like a lot of people are very much like, did we really even want a sequel to Darksiders?
think
But is this going to be a
everyone wants
situation where as soon as we get our hands on it, people are going to be like, oh, I
think-
could take more of this. I like this.
I think people want.
That's what she said.
I think what they've shown is kind of rough. I mean, we've seen
Well,
more.
I think what
of
they've
it.
shown is way too early. First of all, I think they jumped the gun on showing this game way too early.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
wondering
it got
if...
leaked, didn't it?
No,
kind of.
Yeah, well,
it wasn't
kind
leaked.
of.
It's
I mean, but,
official.
like, IGN had-
the gameplay.
No, I
footage?
thought they went.
No.
Well, it leaked on Amazon.
Yeah, when it leaked
and
on
then like
Amazon,
an hour
yeah,
later
yeah.
they revealed
Yeah.
it. But like,
But did y'all see the game?
but IGN has had this like a month worth of coverage for this game planned.
Mm-hmm.
So they were planning on unveiling it one way or another. And yes, I did
last
see the
week
gameplay.
we only talked about the cinematic trailer though, right?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the gameplay you're referring
The
to.
gameplay looks rough.
I mean, it looks early. It even also says pre-alpha. So I just feel like this is a situation where they announced it and showed it way too. Like, I don't have any doubt in my mind that when the game finally comes out, it's going to look and it's probably going to look and animate way better than what we're seeing. They are showing bits and pieces of things like traversing with like her whip and like using that as like a way to swing around and stuff, which could be cool. And if the world's open and there's a lot of freedom to
I mean, I would assume it
around
would
it, it could be really cool. I just think they showed it way too fucking
Oh,
early.
totally
but
could
it also it has been revealed if you watch that footage closely, like presentation wise, that boss, like I'm pretty sure they're gonna make a Souls-like with this game, which makes sense.
Yeah, it
because I feel like what they would like to
That's kind of
what
an
they've
evolution
done
of the game,
Yeah,
yeah.
with the Darksiders series is kind of emulate another series or other things, and it makes complete sense that Darksiders 3 would try to emulate Souls. And if you watch that trailer, like look at how he walks up on that boss with no cutscene, it just sort of appears on the screen. The font, like even kind of where the life bars and boss bar, it's Souls.
I mean, but also,
and it looked early.
Let's not forget though, like Darksiders, like one of Darksiders' like thing has been like kind of aping other games.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So like, it wouldn't
makes
surprise
sense.
me at all if this was.
No, it makes
you know.
sense. And I'm not even against that.
No,
right.
I'm not against that. The thing is, I'm wondering if their choice to reveal this early was because E3 is coming up next month, and I think they'll probably have a plan to actually have the game playable. Like, I'm hoping that what they've been like maybe honing and like crafting like some really polished, like super vertical slice of the game for a demo, so that maybe we get a better idea of what the game's gonna look like.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's hard, it's impossible to say that with certainty. I'm just hoping that whatever they have at E3, because I'm almost certain it's going to be at E3 in some form, will be a better representation of the game. But anyways, we have another comment about from Arxidus says, I got maybe a third of the way through the first Darksiders before stopping. It certainly borrows elements from other games, which is all well and good, but I wasn't able to stay interested. It feels as though these games lack a significant and original hook. He says, besides the Four Horsemen narrative. So I might as well play the games that Darksiders borrows from, which is kind of a bummer. I mean, you should play all those games anyways. Portal, Zelda,
God of War.
I wouldn't even give them credit on the Four Horsemen thing. Like that feels really derivative.
Sure.
A little bit.
I mean, I think it lends itself really well to like the look and feel of that game, but I wouldn't. It's not necessarily like blowing my socks off or anything from like a lore standpoint. But that world, I think that world still looks and feels really cool, even if the story is maybe a little derivative.
No, I definitely think that franchise's strength has been more in gameplay than anything else.
Yeah. Last piece of feedback this week comes from Cobra. He actually left 2 comments, but one he wrote in capital letters. If this gets read on the podcast, read this instead. So I'm going to read this one. Or fuck you, I'm going to read the first one. Just kidding. Gotcha. He says, something I want to point out about Fury's design, which is the main character from Darksiders 3, is that there are Darksiders comics, and Fury's design and that makes the one in Darksiders 3 look amazing. I mean, her armor in the comics was basically just lingerie.
DLC?
I gotta check out this comic.
So it's good because it's not as bad as it could have been.
Exactly.
Yes.
It could be worse.
Do those comics come after the game, or is the game based on a comic series?
No, they made the comic.
No, the comic was made.
Get all the games together, to, like bridge the gaps.
Yeah, it started as a game franchise,
okay,
and then they made the comics after.
Gotcha.
Fury does look like a Battleborn character.
I know a lot of people are down on
to
this
the
game.
Googles.
I know a lot of people are down on this game. I'm gonna say right now, I hope it surprises people.
I think we
I
all
hope
do.
I hope so too.
Yeah, me too.
I would
There's not a
rather
lot
see
of-
it be a good game than not a good
I
game.
like both of those.
There's not a
I've
lot
I've
of
also-
third-person like world exploration games like that.
Yeah.
No.
If you don't count Zelda.
I would also consider. I also recently
Dark Souls.
even considered. I mean, we have probably a long time before this game comes out. I've considered going back and playing one of those games. Probably not both of them. Holy shit, that's
I like this one better.
Wait, let me see.
boobies.
Diane?
Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for your feedback and your comments from last week's episode. Like I said, if you want to chime in on anything we talked about this week, just once you've listened, head on over to 4playernetwork.com, find the post for this episode 504, leave us a comment, and we will read that at the beginning of next week's episode. But I think it's time to talk about the thing that Carlos got in his car and drove over here for, right?
I always picture Carlos like riding a unicycle.
Let's talk about some. Back when that boy hit its peak as a meme, I actually went on Amazon and was looking at unicycles.
How much it would
and
cost.
green bodysuits.
Yeah. You were pricing out a bit.
Yeah, I was like, is this worth it? It was. I
Wait,
just didn't have the money
You just
for it.
didn't.
Oh, I was about to say, you said it was. I was like, does that imply that you did
a
it?
surprisingly economical bit.
Yeah, anyway, let's talk about Prey. Prey, we talked a little bit about it last week. At that point, Chris...
Pray tell.
Yes. Okay.
I made that joke last week.
No.
I made that joke.
I
last
made that
week
joke for the
before
first
Nora
time
made that
here on this
last
episode
week,
of 4Player
kinda
Podcast.
like whispered into the mic.
Nobody else has
no one
ever made that
noticed.
joke before me. Just now, I'm original and funny.
Thank you for clarifying, Crispy.
I would appreciate some credit.
We cannot
on my
have another
joke.
podcast full of Prey jokes.
Pray, shut up.
Okay, what?
That doesn't even make sense.
Right, shut up.
Let's praise pray.
You can't just say the word Prey. You can't just say the word Prey in front of things and be like, oh, that was funny. All right, let's talk about Prey. I think we've all
Nick,
played a
you're
pretty
probably
significant
right.
chunk of the game at this point.
I have actually finished the game.
Wait, Mark Pillipre.
No, that was dumb.
Back and pray.
So Crispy started it last week. Carlos has actually finished the game. You played. How long did it take you to finish it?
According to the game, it took me about 16 hours, and I did, I think, 2 side quests. I kind of skipped out on a whole bunch of those.
2.
What are the side quests? What are they, like finding shit?
Well,
Yeah.
it
Some
depends.
of them are finding people. They're pretty cool. They're kind of like Dishonored side quests.
This is bad footage.
But
What is happening?
Is this Carlos?
This is real life.
Bad stuff is happening.
This is real life.
Nolan fucking around.
I got stuck
no.
on a pipe, and then I was trying to hit something to get out, and the pipe burst and started spraying me with fire.
All right.
Oh no one.
So-
PC
oh,
or
God.
console?
What do you think?
Everyone, okay. So
Watch this load time and tell me what
Most
console you
people-
think
What's
it's
the
on.
mouse?
Yeah, I should play it
Damn.
on PC. Why didn't I just get it on
I think
PC?
no one's the only person
Well,
here
it's
played
'cause
it
I
on
didn't
PC.
buy it. I
This
didn't
is
wanna buy it.
definitely a PC game. Like, I can tell you that the couple of issues I had with the game, most of them would have been resolved if I had been playing this on PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a pretty big issue I want to bring up, but I don't want to start the discussion off with that because I am really, really, really enjoying this game. I mean, I've played it 8 hours in the past 2 days, which is pretty good for me considering I've only been kind of limited to playing it in the evenings. So like, I'm really enjoying the hell out of this game, and I don't want to like start this conversation by dropping comparisons to other games. I think those
Bioshock!
It's absolutely fair to drop
System
comparisons.
Shock!
This game is pretty much System Shock 3. Like, you can't. I wish we were
Carlos-
able to like judge the game independently as it is, but it's something that we can't just ignore.
It is
that's true.
pretty damn impossible to ignore. I mean, System Shock, Bioshock,
Looking Glass games.
Yeah, in fact, one of the fucking like
Deus Ex.
one of the main technologies in the game is I'm assuming is supposed to be an homage to Looking Glass Studios, right? I mean, they call the technology Looking Glass.
Yep.
And you spend a lot of time looking through the Looking Glass.
Did you get the Warren Scepter?
Oh, there is a cooking book by Elliot Shawn or something like that.
Oh,
Elliot
In the
Shawn.
apartment, yeah.
Yeah.
And before I forget, someone
When you open the book, is it a bunch of random fucked up gifts?
No, it's a cooking book. Before we move on to this, I want to tell you this, Nick. It did take me a short amount of time to finish the game because I chose to ignore most of the side quests. Because at some point I realized that this is a game I'm going to replay a couple times in the future. So I figured I'll just save those so I don't burn myself out of the game right
Why?
now. Because I definitely will be playing this several more times.
Yeah.
Like I have System Shock, like I have Bioshock, and like I have Deus Ex in the past and the summer.
Yeah, and you hold System
close.
Shock in particular in especially high regard.
Yeah.
So this was definitely a game that speaks to you on many levels, I would assume.
What are some of those levels?
So level 1. So hold on. First of all, like I've been like, my life's been pretty turned upside down lately.
Wait. I'm sorry. Well, never mind. I'll bring this up after you.
Good. And so like every time that's kind of been time to like cast, I've been like, ugh, like I have to set up and all. I'm like, but this past Tuesday, I was like, I can't fucking wait. I'm gonna play some Bray. Dude, like I'm fucking loving this game. It's so
Wait.
good.
It's
Wait.
good.
I don't.
What's up, Nick?
Where did that excitement? I mean, is that
So,
because you
like-
started playing it and
so
then
yeah,
you
no, I
realized?
played it
I
for-
feel like
I-
you were kind of like tepid.
I
on
was.
it.
I was super tepid going into this game. I did not follow. I don't want to say media blackout,
Yeah.
but I definitely did not seek out anything Prey
You
related.
didn't watch our video.
I watched
Did ya?
the video, and I also sat with you as you recorded it.
Let's be honest, no one was really that hyped about this game.
I read
There was
all
zero
the
hype.
And so
going
hold on,
into
no. So
Oh.
after the video, I was like, this is looking pretty good. And so I got it, and I played it for like a couple hours, and I was like, holy fuck, this game is amazing. And then like it just even like I've been like this is my type of game because it's just so open. You can stack boxes, climb on top of them, and get to an area. Maybe you're like couldn't
Can I pause you real quick?
go for it.
Because I need a question. Above that chamber,
You're about to find out.
oh, you go up there?
Yeah, in the footage.
I was thinking about going back there using a recycler.
Don't.
Okay. All right.
But anyway, so yeah, no, like everything about this game has been, and just because I thought about it, because Brad was talking, his tweets from the other day are 100% accurate. One of the scariest things in this game is the fucking UI.
Oh my god!
When you complete a quest and whang, like just like noises
I've
and
been
shit,
jumping
like it
because of that.
freaks me.
Especially when you complete a quest and you don't know why you completed it.
Yeah.
Like
And
I've
it
gotten
also-
quests that I immediately complete because like it involved going to some place that I'd already been.
It also
Yeah.
flashes the completed message like 4 times.
Yeah.
Like boom, and then you're like, oh shit.
And it always comes with that sound effect that sounds like one of those fucking like epic Christopher Nolan trailers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I turned the music down to 30%.
I following Carlos's advice, I did turn it down a bit. I turned it down to 50%.
I will say
turned
this,
it down
just
too.
kind of on a quick side note, because I feel like going into this game, especially with a lot of the preview footage and some of the early impressions going around, a lot of people were really like down about the music in the game.
The music's
I'm actually
pretty good.
really
It,
enjoying
it
the
really
music.
reminds me of
Once you balance it.
what was that
Yeah.
Netflix show everyone loved?
Stranger Things?
Stranger Things.
Yeah,
I get like
yeah.
a Stranger Things vibe from it.
Yeah,
Like
I
very
mean,
synthy.
Yeah.
It also gives me it also reminds me a little bit of like Mirror's Edge in terms of the sound,
Yeah.
which I think is good because it's not the sound I would have expected with this type of game.
I think the music itself was good. I feel like the way
The
it's
mixing is
implemented-
bad. It's not the kind of music that you want front and center. You
So
kind of
are-
want it more like hanging out in the background.
So what did you go into the settings and turn the music just down a little bit?
Yeah,
I
the
turned it down
music
to
level.
30. I turned it down to like 50 before, and then I got annoyed with the like sound cue that plays whenever a mimic jumps out.
Oh yeah.
But you can
And
still, but it's still loud enough that you can.
Oh no, you
enjoy
can.
the
Well, Nick, I
footage.
turned it down to 50%, and I was like, "Is that really 50%?
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
can still hear it quite loud."
It's pretty overpowering, so I might consider dropping
Turn it down
to
to 30. At 30, I found it's like an ambience soundtrack. Like it's there, you can tell it is, but it's not like
Yeah, I'll probably
in
do
your
that
face.
because
Just-
I definitely do enjoy
just
the sound.
by
of
the
it.
way,
It's just too loud.
this footage. This is how I play games like this. I just spend like several
This
minutes
is
just
45 minutes of footage in this
stacking
one room.
boxes.
No
Why
one-
didn't you use the glue?
Because I'm a fucking idiot. I forgot I had it.
Are you about to climb up there?
Yeah.
I didn't know. you
There's
could-
something up there, but
There's
that.
nothing up
I
there.
think you can like mimic your.
Trust
way
me,
in.
you can mimic your way there, but trust me, once you get up there, there's nothing up there.
No, I'm saying like there is something up there.
There's nothing up there.
But like, can you like coffee cup your way in? Maybe.
Yes, from the other side, but you could have already gotten there.
All right,
Trust
this
me.
is-
Anyway,
this is
riveting,
thrilling.
riveting conversation. So yeah, so let's talk like one of my frustrations, and it's not.
Are we
It's
starting
not
with frustration?
No, it's hold on. It's not bad. It's the fact that I'll clear out an area, go somewhere else, and come back, and all of a sudden there's a fucking mimic there
Yeah.
that I
Dude.
didn't see, and he pops
So
up.
that's it. The two best parts of the game: level design and mimics.
Okay, I just want to say just briefly because this one thing that's worth noting is this is an Arcane game. It's not the
It is,
same
yeah.
studio that worked on Dishonored 2. That was a studio I believe in Europe,
Yeah,
for
correct.
Sling.
Yeah.
This was actually made here in Austin, but it does share like they have a very uniform or like predictable. Predictable sounds bad, but like. This has Arcane style like written all over it in terms of just the freedom they give you to move around and explore and like find your way into places that you maybe don't need. Like if you can
This
find
is-
a way in, you can
This
get
is
there.
me getting upset because I realized there's nothing up here.
like just as an example, so y'all know the security area in
Yeah.
the bottom floor of the lobby. I don't know if y'all got there via a key card, but like
I didn't.
Because they have those little like glass panes with like the small opening for people to slide like money under and stuff or whatever or cards. And I could see the door that was locked, and there was a button next to it to unlock it, and I couldn't if I ducked down, I couldn't quite get a shot at the button from where I was. So I literally dragged like a chair or some kind of like object over, and I stood on top of it and crouched, and I was able to get a perfect shot through the hole in the glass, hit the button with the Nerf gun to unlock the door, and then run around and get in there. And
There's also a vent you can go through to get in there.
yeah, like there's a vent,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you eventually find some kind of key card to let you
Probably.
in. But like,
there's exploration in this game is frustrating because it's like almost endless.
Yeah.
Like there's just like I said, I'm 8 hours in and I feel like I've done nothing story wise just because I spend so much time.
I'm 8 hours in, and I've also.
I just exploring areas.
I feel like I'm still
I
like in the
just
very.
got out of this area. Wait, what area?
This is the hardware lab.
Correct.
I just got through with the hardware lab, and I'm
Like-
8 hours in.
Like I feel like if this was like, let's just say for instance this was a BioShock game, like I feel like I've spent 8 hours and I've barely gotten past like the entryway like area in
Yeah.
BioShock. When you come down the elevator and you open in that first big room,
That's what it feels like.
That's where I feel like I've explored.
So Nick, you were saying I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but you were saying you were having some combat blues.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to get there
we
just
talk
yet
about, like-
because I do want to talk about the things that I love about
I want
this
to talk
game.
about a strat that I've been using.
Oh, like that's going to be demonstrated in this footage?
Maybe turrets, bro. I
Oh,
fucking
yeah,
carry
yeah.
them everywhere with me, and I set
Oh.
up ambushes. I'll set up 2 right on other sides of doors, and I'll go and I'll spook a phantom, so he starts chasing me, and I run through the door, and as soon as he comes through,
No, turrets are great, and the fact that they're portable is fantastic.
You know what the problem with turrets is though? You have to do 2 actions to deploy them. You have to throw it and
And
you
then-
have to
I
hold
do
down the
fucking
button.
hate that.
And
Because
you
sometimes I see a phantom coming and I'm carrying a turret and I'm
It's
like,
too late.
it's going down, and I throw it and it just lands on its side. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Or
You
like,
can't just throw it or it falls
honestly,
on its side.
if they just would have removed the hold to deploy,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind just hitting the button while it's on the
It should have
ground.
been like press the button to drop it,
Yeah.
hold the button to deploy it, like where
Yeah,
you are.
something
that would
like
make
that.
more sense, yeah.
Yeah, it's real weird.
I'm sure on
There'll be a
PC they'll
for
mod
that,
it.
yeah. What is that?
This is a hole I could probably get into if I could
Turn into a cup?
morph into a cup, maybe.
I didn't see that hole.
Neither did I until I was recording
I
this
think the
footage.
level design in this game is incredible.
It's amazing.
I think it's
Yeah.
even way better than like Bioshock. There's so much like
I mean,
complexity and like
dude,
verticality.
I think it's on
Dude,
par with
you-
like.
If you've only just got through the machine shop, you ain't seen
You don't even know
shit.
yet. Yeah.
I mean,
You
here's
ain't seen shit
Well, I
yet.
also spent some time.
Have all you guys discovered the way fast travel works in the game?
Yeah.
yeah.
The airlocks.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Well, that's fucking
That is
fantastic.
that
It's
is
brilliant.
that
Oh,
is
it's
low
brilliant.
key like my favorite part about this game.
It sucks
Going
not
out
playing
into
on
space
console, though,
and-
because if you try to use it as an actual fast travel, you have to deal with 2 loading screens.
yeah.
So it doesn't really feel as quick as a real fast travel.
it
But
does.
you still get the feeling that you're covering a large amount.
on PC.
Of distance.
it
Sure.
does.
All
It
time.
probably like when you're going from like the arboretum to like the machine shop. It probably is still quicker to do it that way, and it's a hell of a lot safer.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
a
Safety.
hell of
yeah.
a lot safer.
I mean, as far as you know, buddy.
That's like honestly, like I'll agree with you there, Crispy. Like I think
I have seen 1 or 2 things outside.
Oh my god, there's some
But-
dangerous shit.
Oh
out
no,
there.
yeah, there is some dangerous. Like the thing was, it was funny
There's
because
some dangerous shit in the station.
that's true
guys.
too. When I was casting, when I first got to that airlock, I went outside, and of course I was freaking out. And then I literally explored for like an hour and a half outside the ship.
Yeah.
just exploring,
Yeah.
and I
Like-
found a Q beam. I
Yeah.
found like a dead person, and they had the Q beam on them, and then
Wait, really?
yeah, just randomly outside the ship.
Was that
it
your
wasn't
first time
outside the
finding
ship.
the Q-beam, that
yeah,
part?
yeah,
Okay,
the
that-
first time. I hadn't encountered it in like that one room yet.
You have to have repair too to get into that room, right?
Maybe I don't remember. But
I
anyway,
do
so
think
like,
it's cool that you can find weapons for the first time in
like
different
randomly,
places.
yeah. And so like I was exploring, I found like a shaft, and I opened it, and I went inside, and like I was exploring inside there, and of course like I keep fucking, it's in space, so there's no up or down, so I'm like having to
Yeah,
like,
it's super
and then I'm getting
disorienting.
lost because I'm like, wait, which way did I come from? And I find the Q beam, and then as soon as I do, this fucking giant blob alien thing starts floating towards me, and I'm like, ah! So I just unload the Q beam at it, and it explodes.
Yeah.
But then I'm out of like Q beam ammo.
I do want to say this about the space thing because that is, I agree with Crispy. I think that's one of the highlights of the game for me as well.
I think
it reminds me of Dead Space, which is like
I wish it had a button that like locked you to a surface like in Dead Space.
Yeah.
yeah, like it's even more disorienting though in this game because you're in first person.
Yeah.
But like that was one of my favorite. That's one of the things that blew my mind in the original Dead Space was
And
going.
you had a lot of
into zero
momentum
gravity.
as well.
Have you gotten
in
to?
the original Dead Space?
Have
There
you-
are a few places you do, but in Dead Space 2, you go out like in like a big giant open space.
I just like that it's. I like that it's not simply a contextual thing.
Yeah.
It is an actual like fully developed space that you can go out and explore whenever you want,
Yes.
provided you have access to it. And
There's
I
stuff out
also
there for you
like
to do.
that like the way you move and the way you behave and the way the game plays in space is completely different than when you're in a gravity environment.
totally. Yeah.
It's not like I remember I used to be a huge Halo fan, right? So Halo 2, like the first level of Halo 2, there's a section where you like go out into space, but it's just more of the same level. You're just in space. You're still walking around on ground. You're still shooting. You know, everything
but
basically.
everything's like muffled.
Yeah,
Right?
everything's muffled and your jumps a little higher,
Did you
right?
ever play-
It's really just kind of like a set dressing for more action. Like here, it has actual like mechanical gameplay
Like the
implications,
the character
which is
controls
fucking
totally different.
Fantastic. Imagine like honestly, all I can think about while I'm playing it is like how much better something like BioShock would have been if you could have just popped out into the ocean whenever you wanted to.
That
you
would have
know?
been fucking
Like,
amazing.
oh my god, like that was the one thing like I wanted to do the whole time I was playing BioShock was like, man, wouldn't it be so fucking cool if you could just hop out and like walk around on the outside of
I think that's
Rapture?
why like there were certain parts of BioShock 2 that were supposed to be like really
Yeah,
impactful
but
when
those
you
were
went
just
outside.
linear
I know
sequences.
that's what I'm
Kinda
saying.
just became-
like those were supposed to be way more impactful because you finally got to go out in the ocean, but they were very scripted and linear.
Very contextual.
What you need to create like a really good sense of space, and when those are tied to just linear sequences.
But that's the thing in this is like I said, I went outside the ship for the first time, and I was like, my mind was blown, and like I was fucking, like I started shooting, and all of a sudden you could see your momentum that I was propelling myself slowly by shooting my gun, and the fact that you can literally get lost outside the ship. I mean, if you didn't have the way markers up, you'd get completely. I'm like, where the fuck am I?
The
That
first
was
time
on-
you go out, there's like debris floating around.
Yeah.
There's a crate. I shot a floating crate with the glue gun, and it just goes. It just like it acts like something in microgravity actually would have if you like hit it with another object.
I was
It's so
like,
cool.
I was like shooting something or doing whatever out in space, and I wasn't really paying attention. I was like fucking with stuff in my inventory, and I'm going in, and I'm going out.
Brad, talk to your microphone.
I'm kind of looking around, and then I realized like, whoa, I've been like drifting out into space. I'm
Getting
like
farther
real far
away.
from
Yeah.
the space station.
Yeah, you really lose
really
track.
cool. You can
But
also-
As you guys,
I spent probably like half an hour, out, maybe more, out in space before I realized you could click the stick to like.
Oh,
boost.
propel your
yeah,
boost.
boost.
So I was
Oh
going
my
real
God.
slow at first.
You can
I-
also see your shadow projected like really small on the side of the station.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
yeah. Have you guys gone out to the derelict shuttle out there?
No.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
But
Jesus.
no, like one time I went out in airlock and I just saw something like way far away, and I was like, "That kind of looks like a shuttle." So I just started flying towards it to see what happened. You just go there, and it's a derelict shuttle with stuff in it, and it's part of a side quest.
It was funny. Like I encountered,
That's fucking cool.
I encountered like a dead body out in space, an air, like
Yeah.
the hole had been breached, and so a body was flying out, and like I found him, and so I just grabbed him, I threw him,
Yeah.
and his body just cartwheels and just keeps going,
just forever.
it just keeps going,
Just gone.
I did that with all the corpses I found.
If
Yeah.
Nick, if comparing this to Dead Space, like some of
Yes.
those like 0G like
Yeah.
flying sequences in Dead Space, if you really like that kind of stuff, have you gotten to the guts yet?
I'm in psychotronics heading towards the guts.
The
Easy,
guts,
buddy.
the
I have,
guts is
I have a feeling I know what
it's
I
awesome
know what that is. but
and really scary. Like
I-
So that's honestly, Nick, Brad, and myself are all in the same spot.
Yeah.
I think me and Nick are like 20 minutes gameplay ahead of Brad.
yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, Nick and I just got the what is the scope called? The
Psychoscope.
Yeah,
Psychoscope.
Psychoscope.
So we just got the ability to use neuromod
By the way,
stuff.
first thing I did, I could turn into a cup.
Oh, of course, of course.
I beat
that's-
the game
Man,
with no
I-
Typhon power.
I haven't been doing Typhon powers. I've upgraded like one or two, but like the game is very much like, be careful using these. Like
Well,
this might fuck
one
you
of my
up.
things is like I love turrets and I love using them, but apparently
If
like,
you have too many installed,
yeah,
they
and so
start-
like every time I've been walking past turrets, like no Typhon material, no Typhon material, and then I walk past and they're like insufficient Typhon material, and I'm like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
like oh like
I think
Logging error
one thing that's,
report.
one thing that's great, it's kind of a double-edged sword for someone like me who knows they're only going to play this game probably once, at least for right now. It's gonna, if I ever play this game, it's going to be a very long time, and I want to experience all these things. But this is very much a game where you can't. It's not like Horizon, where you go into Horizon and you know by the time you finish it, you will have unlocked every ability in that map and have access to it and be able to play around with all that stuff. This is kind of a game where you kind of have to pick and choose. I don't think this is going to be very open to like kind of doing everything. You know what I
Yeah, you
mean?
can.
I feel like you saying you can or you can't?
you
Yeah.
can. Oh, you can't.
Yeah, you really do have to kind of I started playing kind of thinking I was going to try and go that way, but it's already become very apparent because of the number of neuromods you find and how rare they are versus how much just the sheer amount of stuff
so
that you can unlock with them.
is kind of almost a frustration for me because I
Yeah, it's
have
for me too,
I have
for-
four
I gotta-
neuromods
I gotta
and I
bounce.
have like okay,
Let me just voice my one big final concern with this game. Why is it that when you're fighting enemies head on and they're looking at you, your screen just turns black?
Oh yeah.
Oh, the fear.
It's
Yeah,
just so
that's-
annoying.
that's
an
what that is.
effect?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You
fear.
can't. No,
You
that's
can
not
dr-
fear.
That's not fear?
That
Then
happens
what the
always.
fuck is fear?
Fear just makes you run slower and it makes your shooting very inaccurate.
I've not
The
encountered
the
a
visual
black
component
no,
isn't part
that's
of
not
it.
if you pull out a pistol and start shooting at a dude, and then as soon as you finish, you'll notice the screen gets
Fear
brighter.
you get like an actual status effect on your screen. The black filter or whatever.
Oh, is
it
that
only
the,
happens? It only happens when you get spotted.
Is that the thing that they? Oh, I can't remember what it's called. But they talk about like some condition that people get where their vision looks
Oh.
like electrostatic.
White noise?
Yeah, white noise.
Yeah.
It's so bad because I've been playing mostly with skills in the engineer tree, which rely on using the wrench. So I'm trying to hit people and I can't see what I'm hitting. And as soon as I kill them, like the brightness comes back all the way.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's very drastic. how
I
different it
noticed
is.
that last night. It happened to me a lot too. So we'll talk about that.
Bye.
Carlos.
Bye,
Thanks for joining
Carlos.
us. We
But yeah,
appreciate you chiming
so Nick,
in.
that's one of the frustrating things for me with this game is the fact that there's so much to do.
Yes.
And I have 4 Nero mods, and there's like 40 options to choose from.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got
That's the sign of a really good skill
psychoscope,
system.
what is it called?
Psychoscope.
As soon as I got the psychoscope and it unlocks those other abilities, I was like, "Fuck me!"
But that's the sign of a really,
No,
really good skill
it's
system.
true. It's
everything is desirable, and everything feels significant when you actually.
And I agree.
Get it.
It's wonderful. I love it to death for that. But I also am a little saddened by the fact that I just know I'm not going to get to experience everything this game has
Yeah,
because of the
some
fact
of
that
that.
See, I
I'm
don't-
not going to replay it immediately.
Like, there's some stuff I really want to do on that skill tree, but like, I don't know. Like
Having to make
mimic powers seem really cool, but besides like squeezing into the odd tiny space, like what?
Having
does
to
that
make
really
I
those
think it's better for
choices
stealth
is
because you can
what
actually
is,
you can actually
interesting
hide
gameplay.
because of that.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like I think, like I said, it's a double-edged sword. I think on one hand it's fucking amazing, and I wouldn't change it for the world. On the other hand, it's just kind of like, man, I wish I could experience all this stuff in one playthrough, but I can't. But it is also cool because there's not. I feel like that's kind of rare. There's not a whole lot of games that kind of force you to actually specialize these days.
These days. I
so-
guess. Yeah.
I mean, so like,
Or they have like a respec option,
yeah.
which is fine in like some games, I guess.
But I
here, I think it would really kind of water down because you just respec and go get all the secrets that you couldn't get before.
Yeah,
you know?
it's
So
So
like-
that, and they
last
also
night-
have an in-universe explanation for why you can't do that.
Yeah,
'Cause it
like that's
resets
actually
your-
one of the whole
Yeah.
conceits of the game is because the whole story revolves around these neuromods and like the science of like how they work, and essentially what they are is they're designed to like teach, like they're trying to find a way to be able to teach people to do anything, right?
Yeah.
Neuromods can teach you how to speak French or do whatever
Yeah,
the fuck.
they
but once
alter-
you install them,
They alter your synapses so that you have like new skills and
yeah.
abilities.
But they essentially discover that when you remove them,
It resets
it
your brain.
resets your
to-
fucking brain.
Yeah.
So you can't do that. So that's kind of like the backstory behind the game, and so that it provides a very logical explanation for how the neuromods work as a gameplay device, which is cool. I think that stuff is fucking great.
Do you have the electricity gun?
I don't even have
What
that
the
yet.
fuck is that?
Dude,
No,
it's
no,
in
he's
the
saying
very
stun
first
gun.
stun gun.
The stun gun.
I don't have that.
What the
It's
fuck is that?
It's in the very first room of the game,
Yeah.
What?
or the very first like gameplay.
It's
room of
in
the game.
it's in like the simulation area.
when you start playing. Like
God, well, I guess I'm going back.
the thing is, at the very beginning, there's an elevator
you
that's not
should have
powered.
found a.
but
you should
when
have
you
found a fucking blueprint for it.
when,
by now.
when you first get your glue gun, you can use it. It's like the first time you get the glue gun, there's an elevator that's not working.
Uh-huh.
You can just use it to like
Go
in that
up.
elevator shaft to get up to the second floor, and there's stuff up there.
Oh, I know where you're talking. Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Including a
Fuck me.
lightning gun, which you charge up and shoot one of those robots, and it instantly hit the ground, and then you could just wrench them to death.
So that's the thing with this fucking game is there's so much.
Yeah,
Like, oh my god, I
the,
fucking
the,
love
the
it.
game doesn't
Love
care
it.
that if you don't you're not really thorough. You're just gonna miss a lot of stuff, and the game's okay with that.
Yeah.
and I respect that game design because most games don't want you to miss anything.
I mean, it does ensure
So
that
they'll
if you
throw it
do
all
play
in
the
your
game
face.
multiple times, you could have
Yeah,
dramatically
but I mean
different experiences.
that's what these games that you say it's very arcane style, but arcane style was always kind of Looking Glass style. Like Dishonored was very Thief, and this is very System Shock or Deus Ex, and that's how those games were so replayable because you can do things so many different ways, and
Yeah.
or play it again. A lot of
Yeah,
people
no, I mean, I'm not trying to knock it because of that. I think all that stuff is great. And then when you layer on, like last night, I think was the moment where I was playing it and like suddenly just kind of like the depth of the game just kind of dawned on me because I was already kind of trying to, I already had a bunch of weapons. I was, I had I had engineering, security, and whatever. What's the last one? Science, maybe? I don't remember. But the three
Science,
basic trees
yeah.
or whatever. And then I got the psychoscope. And suddenly it opened 3 more, and that has the Typhon abilities. And I was
Yep.
like, oh my god, more skill trees.
The psychoscope-
And then I got my first chipset for my suit. And you
yeah.
have chipsets that give you special abilities, like passive abilities that you can use in your suits, which... I've only found 1 or 2 of those so far, but like I can imagine when you have like 20 or 30 of those, like trying to decide which ones you're going to equip is going to be
Well,
fucking
because
crazy.
then you got to use fucking neuromods to upgrade your suit and upgrade your psychoscope.
you should be doing that
so you
anyways.
can Well, I haven't been because I played the game for fucking 12 hours before I got a goddamn chip. Before I got the fucking psychoscope. Like the amount of stuff you can do in this game before they're like giving you like kind of essential components to your character.
Yeah.
I think is kind of crazy. Like it makes the whole thing not in a bad way, but like it makes the whole thing just feel incredibly
organic,
like, open and just emergent, you know?
Yeah.
Like
The inventory one is really smart because it's two things. Most thing is like one thing.
Right.
But the inventory, it's inventory
hard to
and
justify.
chipset slots.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's obvious. Anyone should take that no matter what. I feel like.
But like, it's also, I forgot what I just had something I was going to say. What the fuck was it? You made me lose it, Brad.
About abilities, chipsets, neural mods.
I lost it.
Looking glass.
Nope.
Can we talk about how cool
that
that
looking
intro
glass
was?
stuff?
Can we talk about how cool like
The twist at the beginning.
Yeah.
Or are you talking about the, like breaking through the
and
glass?
then, like really kind of fucking with it, you'll find like buttons that kind of like switch the states of everything.
Yeah.
If you really go looking,
That
and
kind of
that's
make
just
you
so
realize
cool.
how it was like, how it was all like
Oh,
rigged
the
up,
fuck
and like,
with this episode,
the first time you're like, wait a second. Like you go through the elevator and you turn, like, was that elevator even moving? Like, how did, like, what the fuck? The helicopter never flew. It was just like all the panels.
Dude,
like
the best parts about Looking Glass is like every time you encounter Looking Glass in the game and you don't realize that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then like maybe you end up in a space behind it, or you just like throw something and accidentally break it, and you're like, oh my god, I wasn't looking out a window just now. And then there's like another space behind that you can explore. Like
that's like, I feel like Chris Davis wants us to move on.
People didn't know that like if in your office you can go behind the looking glass,
and there's like a door or something.
And like so you can. I got through it from a different direction, but like when I was playing it, like it just so many times when I was playing it, chat was like, didn't know you could fucking do that.
Yeah,
didn't know that was there,
dude. Like we haven't even really talked about mimics or combat at all yet. But like, and I do have a grievance with the combat, but like there are still some pretty amazing like moments, and just like the amount of stuff that just kind of happens as you're playing it is pretty incredible. Like I was like in the main lobby area, you go up to like the second floor. There's like a kind of a balcony that comes out from like a big room, and I managed to get over there, to go up the stairs and
jump
shimmy
down
on the
to
wall
it?
and get over to it.
That's how I did.
And
it
I got
too.
attacked by a mimic, and I remember like I was running low on ammo. And like it caught me off guard, and I was freaking out. And the accuracy in the PS4 is not the greatest, which is what I kind of want to talk about later. But like I ended up like kind of freaking out and just kind of blindly shooting. And it was it was coming at me on the balcony, and I shot out the glass from underneath it, and I just fell through the glass.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit! Like I've had several moments in the game that are just like really, really, really exciting.
So let's talk about
that.
the combat.
Yes, let's.
It's not just you. I've actually read that a lot. That people are really struggling with the combat.
I am really struggling with the combat, and it's not that I don't enjoy. It's weird because I don't want to say straight up that I'm not enjoying the combat, because when it goes well, I like it.
Are you talking about just this enemy is trying? It's in front of me. I have to kill it.
The enemies
with what I have.
Enemies in this game move very, very quickly, and up until a certain point, I would imagine, especially before you get certain blueprints, whatever. Ammo can be pretty scarce.
But think about Resident Evil.
No. Let me finish my point.
Yeah, let him finish.
What I'm saying is, because ammo can be scarce, I end up relying. I want to rely on my wrench more than usual.
Yeah,
like I want to bust out ammo and guns when it's a major combat scenario, and I think they encourage that.
But think about the knife from Resident Evil.
What about the knife? This is not the knife from Resident
No,
Evil.
but what I'm saying is when you first start a Resident Evil game, combat is very difficult. You don't have a lot of ammo. You can use the knife. But like maybe avoiding combat scenarios altogether is like the idea you should be.
I also don't feel like stealth is a very.
Well,
I've been stealthing it up in this game.
It's not even just stealth. It's like sometimes running away is the smartest.
No, and
option.
I've done plenty of that.
Most times running away.
Yeah.
Sure.
And Nick, I honestly do think that might be by design.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not by design. My grievance with the combat, a lot of it. First of all, a lot of it comes from I don't think the guns are fun to shoot, like at all. I think that I think they feel kind of flat.
Yeah.
I feel like the fact that you can't aim down your sights is a fucking atrocity.
One good thing about the pistol though is you can really hammer on it. Like,
you can, but enemies move so fast in this game. I would be willing to bet that my accuracy in this game is probably less than 30%, because enemies move so quickly. and you as a person, like the panning of the camera is so sluggish that like
It's not
they
compatible.
do this. They do that specifically, I think, because they want that effect of like a mimic running at you, running out of your field of view, and then changing, and then you turning around and not knowing where it is.
That's exactly what they're going for. What happens gameplay wise, especially early on for me, before I got like combat senses, where you can actually just slow down time.
That and the glue gun.
is
Sure, I'm not saying the combat
that
can't get better.
Even with the glue gun, like okay. I think that the effect that they're going for is good and is a very valid one. What I fucking hate is trying to shoot an enemy and having like 16 rounds in my pistol and shooting 10 of them
and not hitting a single.
Yeah, just because like the fucking stick on the controller. Like I just wish there was like
people say input lag. People are saying input.
I know. I think that, and that's the thing is, I
Dude,
think.
it's-
Hold on. I think I guess because I'm on mouse and like keyboard and mouse, I'm not having a single problem with that. And I think like I can move. Y'all saw me that one point. I can move really fucking quick.
But like
that's
there
just
are
the
console games that
and
don't
that's
have
That's what I'm
that
saying.
problem.
Like a
that's
PC shooter wouldn't ever need like a soft lock.
That's unfortunate.
A console game sometimes needs to have something to help.
I've
you out.
also been
Like,
playing on console, but I've not had. I turned up my sensitivity.
I turned it up too.
Oh, I
haven't
It
tried that
starts
yet.
at like
Yeah, do that for
I don't
sure.
know what the default is, but it starts at like 20 or 30. I bumped it up to 50, and that was just like too much because
Yeah,
then
you gotta find
you're
the right
trying to chase the mimic, and it's just
got
like
some
making you
acceleration
dizzy.
issues.
So I definitely like I definitely had to fuck with it a little bit, but like there is something about quick aiming in this game that feels off.
Also, I'm not
Like-
like struggling. I've been dying, and I feel like this game is very hard. And I think it wants to be hard. It wants you to be scared. If you go back and play System Shock, like it's a hard game, you know. And I think this game wants to be hard, but like because I've been not successful in just like fighting a thing with a gun in a one-on-one like combat, I've been using the environment. I've been using the glue gun a lot. I've been using turrets, and I've been just kind of like finding ways to, like what Noah was saying, was to set up ambushes and you know, just using my stun gun on the robots and using my glue gun on the
I think
aliens
the problem
and then
is-
wrenching them when they're down.
That is definitely something that has improved in my gameplay is once I've gotten more resources and
Yeah.
more experience to do stuff like that. It doesn't change the fact that, at least for me, every single combat experience, if it's more than one mimic, that combat experience is super resource intensive. I'm using a lot of hypnos, I'm using a lot of health packs, I'm using a lot of ammo, I'm using a lot of everything that I have, and I'm not getting a lot
Almost
out
to
of
an
it.
absurd degree.
Yeah, I like the amount of times I've gone up against a single phantom and I've had to use multiple health packs or multiple hypnos just to like
Get out alive.
just because they're in a room that like I need to get into to explore. But they're in a space that I know what you're saying, Brad.
What? I didn't say anything.
Well, I
I
know.
pointed my finger.
Okay, hold
Okay,
on, Crispy.
what were you gonna
Hold
say?
on, Crispy.
Well-
You finish up your statement, and then Brad can do whatever he wants to do.
No, I'm just saying. I think I don't know. The whole economy is like tied into this neuromod thing, and neuromods are so precious and they're so limited, and
They are.
you like the idea of, okay, well, I need to spend at least like a dozen of my neuromods that I'm going to get throughout the course of this game to improve what?
No,
Chris
to-
Davis.
No, yeah. To improve how well like my health packs and my psi hypnos work, or hypos, psi hypos. I guess.
Hypnos.
Yeah, whatever.
Are they hypnos or hypos? Yeah. Like I need a baseline. Like I need to improve how well my med kits work. I need to improve how well my hypnos work, and I need to improve how well my suit repair kits work, because that stuff is so important and goes so quickly. Like so many enemies just hurt you just by being close.
Except
to
every
them.
time I get
So-
fucking neuromods, I'm tempted to use it on things that like other like.
No, I know. You want the
fun
flashy
things.
stuff. You want the flashy stuff. You want the
Yeah.
powers. You want the leverage. You want all that stuff, which is great, and you need it.
I wish
but
I
it's
had
like,
leverage 3 so
but
bad.
it's like yeah, I'm at this point now where like I've kind of invested my. I've tried to be wise about how I've invested my neuromods, but like I've been lured in and gone for like I've got leverage 3. I've gotten some of the flashy powers. Like I've got a lot of the combat focus and everything. But like anytime I take damage, I'm popping like 2 or 3 health packs. I'm popping 2 or 3 super repair kits. It is insane. It is insane. And then like even gathering enough resources to keep producing them is like a losing battle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There
I'm
are
having
ways you can make
I'm
those
having the
resources
exact
more
same
efficient.
experience.
I know. By using neuromods. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can make all of that shit more efficient, but you have to invest a shit ton of neuromods, which kind of limits how much of the cool, flashy stuff you can do.
This game is about tough choices.
It really is. It really is.
gonna-
I just think I feel like it's a little out of
fucking
bounds.
When I
god
was
dog
playing,
muffin.
But you said I get to say. You said I get to say my.
know.
You did.
Can
I'm gonna say.
Can
my-
I say it before chat scrolls by? Because Mike, I had made a comment. I want leverage 3, and he
Yeah.
was like, "Just use a recycler charge." I fucking didn't even think about that.
Oh yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about
what
that.
I was
There's always
pointing
more
at
than one
when I
way
was
to break
pointing
an
at
egg.
Crispy is I like how this game is giving me the feeling I have not gotten from a game in a very long time that revolves around a lot of exploration. And I'm talking about I play RPGs and stuff like all the fucking time, and that's that like there are rooms that I walk into and I go, I am not ready for this. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna deal with this. I'm not gonna come back. This shit is hard. Or like stuff where like there's a whole breach out in space, and I'm like, oh, I really want to see what's in there. You know what? I can't have everything I want because that floating fucking horror space squid is not gonna let me have it. So I'm gonna come back to this. You don't get that a lot in a lot of exploration games. Even like Dishonored, you can explore every inch at your leisure, and that's almost like. This is trying to be a little bit of a survival horror game, and I like that feeling. I like that. I've had to ignore rooms, and that is satisfying because you don't see that a lot. The one series that I feel like does that is there are the Souls games, and I think those are better for it too.
That is a good point because I have recently, like especially today, I had that exact same problem where like I had been running into a lot of combat encounters. There was a lot of like stuff that like I had 3 different directions I could go, but they all had enemies and I couldn't really ignore it anymore. And I had too much like junk in my inventory and not enough helpful items. So I was thinking like, okay, well, I need to get to a recycler and I need to get to a fabricator. Where's like the one safe, reliable place I can go? I can go back to my office. So I try to go to the lobby. All of a sudden, boom, there's a fucking nightmare in the lobby now. Okay, that's not going to work anymore. I got to get out of there.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, don't worry. You'll find out. It's terrible. I can't do that anymore. So I had to think like, okay, where can I get in the station easily that's safe? And then I was like, wait a minute. The airlocks. So I just start fucking flying around the station. I jump out an airlock in the Arboretum, go all the way back down to the machine shop, hop in there. There's a recycler and a fabricator right there. Like that feeling of like trying to keep the continuity of the station consistent in your head and think about like how can I get where I need to go to do what I need to do when plan A fails, because plan A is usually going to fail.
And that amazing moment would not have happened if the game wasn't 1, balls hard, and 2, very much limited your resources.
For sure.
I will say, using turrets has gotten me through so much.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's when I walk into a room and I see a phantom, I always carry turrets near me. I always know where they are, and and the thing with turrets is you can't put them at the end of a hallway because the phantoms are just going to shoot at them. So you stagger them at the end of a hallway, so when a phantom comes through, then he gets hit and he can't shoot, and you can be shooting at him while he's distracted by the turrets. Oh my god, like it's made combat so much easier for me.
I have one more minor grievance.
What's up,
I'm
Nick?
going to say minor.
Displacement's really helpful.
What's displacement?
It's a power.
Okay.
Minor.
Was it too?
Very minor grievance.
What's your minor grievance? General grievance?
After playing about 8 hours of this game, I'm still not super thrilled about the enemy designs in this game. I feel like, I mean, mimics make sense because
Those are seriously brilliant.
I think
best
mimics are brilliant, and they create an atmosphere and a
tension.
Spoopy.
Yeah.
It's fucking
I mean,
spoopy.
I don't even like.
A paranoia.
Wait
Paranoia,
until you start encountering greater mimics.
It's
What?
it's
mimics that can mimic.
Stop.
it creates a sense of paranoia that is not common.
Yeah.
I love that, but just about every other enemy of the game is just kind of like a humanoid,
There's more. Have you been
walking,
exploring
talking,
space a lot?
I've only
I mean,
encountered-
everything is just kind of a variation
Nick,
of like this black ooze.
I've only
Yeah,
encountered
there's-
one humanoid
there
enemy
is
so
not-
far.
I mean, like I'm talking
A
about
lot
like
of-
phantoms. They're just like mimics with legs and arms. They
You're
walk around,
about
but
you're
they don't turn
about to get
things.
into areas where they start introducing like the weird shit. Like when you go into psychotronics, there's the weird shit in there. When you go into the guts, there's more weird
But
shit.
is it not-
When you get
but
to
is
the
it-
arbor, I mean, they're all like ooze monsters, but like the way these things are
I'm not saying
designed
that-
and what they do, like
This is
the
why I'm saying
humanoids, the humanoid thing.
This is
there
why I'm
is
saying
many-
minor. It's just because like there's just such like
There are as many enemies now that aren't that as there are that.
sure, but all I'm saying is like I'm gonna go ahead and reference Dead Space for instance. All of the enemies in that game are also sharing a common physiology, right? But they are all vastly, in my opinion, vastly more visually interesting to look at and fight in Dead Space than they are in this, because in this it's all just different variations of just like a black.
So it's
black
mostly
ooze
just
monster.
a look thing. That's
I mean,
bothering
that's why I'm saying it's minor. It's just, it's like it's such a cool universe. It's such a cool environment. The gameplay is so fucking just amazing. I'm just kind of bummed that like when it gets right down to it, you're just kind of fighting these ooze creatures that are just.
And the occasional robot.
I mean, if they
Hopefully
were,
there's more robots.
Occasional robot.
dude, the robots are the fucking worst part. You're talking about the floating robot,
the
dude?
operators?
Dude, I have been killed more times by operators.
Y'all gotta get that stun gun.
Dude, until we had this conversation,
some
I
of
didn't
the
even know that
fucking,
existed.
same here.
Some of the electropathic powers.
Oh, Brett, just a quick comment. You're talking about the hull breaches in space. The first time I was out, when I was exploring for like an hour and a half, I found a hull breach and I sealed it. And I was like, that feels good. I like that.
Wait, was there a point to it?
I don't know. I have
Well,
no
I'm
fucking
talking about
idea.
the big
hold
hole
on,
breaches.
Hold on. I found a smaller hole breach and I sealed it. And then I saw on the map there's another one. And I was like, ooh, I'm gonna go seal up that one. And so I start going there and I see that fucking floating monster and I was like, I'm gonna avoid it. And I fucking try to find 5 ways to go around. I can't. So I spend like all my resources killing it. And then like, yeah, got it. And I start floating towards the hole breach. There's 2 more inside it. Like fuck.
All right,
Reloaded my save.
Just
I
to
was like,
comment-
I'm not doing that.
Just, wait,
silly-
can
wait,
I
hold-
reply to this real quick? Because so SMG is calling me out for not feeling the same way about the monsters in Resident Evil 7, which I did. But the combat in this game is far more frequent than Resident Evil 7. I wouldn't even say that the combat is my favorite part of Resident Evil 7. I appreciate and love Resident Evil 7 because it is very much a slower paced exploration, puzzle solving, like classic Resident Evil. The combat is not why I fucking loved Resident Evil 7.
But in the back third of that game, you were fighting a lot of things, and
You were,
the
and
variations were just
I never said that-
variations on the ooze.
Sure, but I never once said that I liked it in that game, and that is probably my biggest disappointment with Resident Evil 7 is the enemy design was far less. There was far less variety in Resident Evil 7 than what I'm used to. If I could change that about Resident Evil 7, I absolutely would.
Do you think that if this game looked, I guess, more explicitly like a survival horror game and was structured maybe more explicitly like a survival horror game that we're used to, that people wouldn't be having as much complaints about just getting into like face-to-face like gun battles with these things because it has the look of like a BioShock or a Dishonored, but it is not that type of game.
No,
not even BioShock is survival horror.
I actually
really.
like that this is the juxtaposition of like the paranoia and the tone, which is kind of horror-esque, but like the fact that the environment itself is very bright.
Yeah, it's like it's bright and it's like fresh, and it doesn't look like this space station is being attacked by aliens necessarily.
It's like Dead Space if they turned on all the lights, which is kind of cool. Like I would never change that about it, and I'm not even saying that I really have that big of a problem with the enemies. It's just one little thing about the game that I kind of wish was more, because everything else about the game visually is like stunning and like super fun. I just kind of wish I had the same enthusiasm for what I was fighting.
Well,
but like I said, I'm still very early. They could throw some cool shit at me, and I could totally change my tune.
there was only one game that I feel like had like just incredible gunplay, but it was also really scary, and that was Fear.
Oh,
But you know what? That felt so like juxtaposed
Juxtaposition.
I'm saying
Juxtaposed.
like the combat and like the just atmosphere, like exploring an environment with scary stuff happening felt so removed and like so at odds with each other that like you were so excited to like fight things, and that was so like it almost didn't work. It worked because both aspects were good individually, but they weren't like
It was undermining.
they
the
weren't
horror.
good together.
Are we
Yeah.
ever going to see Fear again, you think?
No, I don't think so.
You don't
I
think
doubt
we're-
it.
I don't think so.
You know what?
Are we ever going to see Mass Effect
At
again?
this point,
We'll talk about that
Probably
later.
not.
At this point, I would just love to see another game like Fear, like something that like drew inspiration from Fear, and like that would be enough for me.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
Maybe Darksiders 4.
Maybe. Who the fuck knows? All right, we've talked a lot about Prey. We'll probably we'll chime in future episodes as we kind of move through it and give some updated thoughts on the game. But I think we've talked enough about it on this episode. In fact, I think we've crossed the halfway point for the show, so I think we need to take a quick break. When we come back, we may have a couple games to just briefly rattle off, but then we have it's actually been
A lot of news.
pretty big news week. So we'll talk a little, like Brad said,
Sad
about Mass
news week.
Effect. Yeah, I mean sad.
Hitman.
Yeah.
No, it's
Sad.
definitely some sad news.
It's like half sad and half kind of, we'll talk about it. Whatever. Anyways, if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome back, guys.
I'm not recording yet.
Vageria?
Viva Vegeri?
Hey, I named my child. Would y'all like to hear its name?
Wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Was it Jermaine?
Why are you saying really?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like a big deal.
Is it?
But I mean, it's something you have to do.
Nick, you can always respec and rename. It's fine.
Yeah.
What?
Just gotta
Are you
go
going
to
to
the
tell us?
courthouse.
What's your son's name?
What is it?
I'll tell you.
Tim Tam.
Once we start the fucking podcast.
I'm recording.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
We'll bring the podcast back.
Welcome back to the podcast, guys. Before we proceed into this second segment, Brad is going to
I didn't
regale
actually
us
name my
with the
child
name.
yet. I just wanted to start the podcast, and this was the best way to do it.
Brad named his child. He won't tell us who it is
Is
or
it,
what who it is,
Bobby
what the name is.
Belmont.
All right,
Tim Tam.
phones away. It's time to get started.
So look, here's a true story. Oh, wait, we're listening to the podcast?
Is it? I mean, Crispy is still eating. Nolan's on his phone.
Oh, no, I'm
You're
good.
not telling us the name of your child.
I'm good. Go ahead and start the podcast.
Put the Tim Tam down.
Nolan is actually making a phone call
I'm
right
listening
now.
to a voicemail I got.
Oh my God! I want you to start the podcast.
I was waiting for my phone to start ringing, Nolan.
I don't even have to be anywhere. This is my Friday, but like it freaks me out how good we are at like putting off starting.
Brad, I've been
Right? It just brings us all closer to death.
yes.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
All right,
You know, I
ready?
just had a birthday.
It was
having
important.
feelings.
Like good important or bad important?
Good important. Kind of.
So, are we back on the podcast?
We are
wasn't
officially back
Oh, sweet.
from the break.
Me and Crispy finished Nier.
Oh my god.
But before we talk about
Wait.
that, so I did name a child.
Okay, I was waiting for this.
But I had a freak out moment. And it was only because I found
Did
I
you
was
name your
listening-
child? Or
You
did
already
y'all
forgot
name
your
I was
child's
listening
name?
to a video game podcast, and this other podcaster, I mean, I didn't know that he was having a child, and he mentioned his child's name. I don't know, maybe he's had it for a while. I mean, I didn't know, whatever. But like, he named his child the same thing, and I freaked out like it mattered. I mean, I've never met the person in my life. I probably never will. But like, now both of our sons have the same name, and that weirded me out.
Okay, I'm waiting with bated breath.
That was really weird.
Brad, what is the name of your
I tried to
goddamn
think of a
child?
video game character with this name, and I couldn't do it. Can y'all think of a video game character named Henry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Henry Hatsworth?
Damn, that's a good one. See, I was trying to think of a good one so I can like piss off my wife by
Wait,
saying
you're gonna
that I didn't choose the name.
So that after it's done, you can say that
It's a video game name, and that's why I liked it.
Dr. Henry Jones.
We
Hatsworth.
named our son after Henry Hatsworth, and she's gonna be like, no. The thing is, every time y'all are in a public place or like having a conversation, like a party or like among friends, whatever, and someone's talking to you about your child, always start the conversation. But yeah, we named our child after Henry Hatsworth, the video game. Don't even give her a chance to like swat her down, and she just watch her go off. It's
Henry
gonna be great.
from Silent Hill 4.
Oh, you're right. It's Henry Townsend from Silent Hill 4.
It's not a very common video game name, though.
Why not Henry Jones?
Who's that?
Henry Jones Jr.
Is that like a...
We named the dog Indiana.
Oh, that's fun.
Indiana Jones' name is Henry.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Watching a little Last Crusade tonight while we were eating dinner.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Fucking good movie.
It's a good movie.
Pretty good movie.
See,
Had to leave in the middle of it to
that's-
come record this.
See, I typed in Henry video game character,
Oh, yeah,
and all that
hardcore.
showed up was
Hardcore.
hardcore Henry.
That's
And I
not a
was
video
like,
game.
That's not even a video game.
Hank?
Yeah.
Hank Hill?
Hank is short for Henry.
It
Hank is short for Henry?
Yes,
Is that real?
Yes.
You can call him the Hankinator.
Your kid's name is Hank.
See, she wanted a name that you couldn't really shorten to something stupid.
Oh.
I don't think she realized that Hank is...
Oh, sweet summer
Let me ask you.
child.
Let me ask you this: in a,
A Hank to hold.
it's too late too. It's too late.
Wait,
I
like
mean,
it's
not
too-
really.
That's like the official name.
You know-
We were
you know-
calling
Wait,
this for a while.
is it on like a birth certificate yet?
Well,
the
when she was
child's
doing
not
like
birthed.
insurance or
Then
whatever, she
it's
was.
not- it can
She
be-
doesn't listen to the show.
Wait.
You're fine.
I feel like there was HH. What was the dude's name from?
H.H. Gregg.
Let him get the question out. For the love of God.
What was? There's something I watched where someone was called HH. What was that?
I have no idea.
H.
No, I think I'm thinking of Raising Arizona.
Howard Hughes.
What was the dude's name from?
Fucking.
Kill him.
Oh, I can't
Howard
do
the
it.
Duck.
I can't do it, but you're talking about Nicolas Cage's character?
Yeah, what was his name?
In what movie?
Raising Arizona.
Raising
Oh, I
Arizona.
don't know.
Although Holly Hunter's
H?
HH. Okay,
Somebody look that up.
we finished
I'm on
Nier.
Henry Simons.
You know, Hank is the term for a bundle of rope or cord, right?
Really?
A hank of rope.
a Henry of rope.
I like that. Hank.
His name was H.I. McDonough.
H.I. McDonough. That's what it was.
All right, Brad. Thank you for sharing that
Hi.
tidbit of personal
Yeah,
information with us. We appreciate it. But now we got to talk about video games again. We still have a couple more small games, or not small games, but like games to kind of. We've we've talked about some of these games before, but we want to check in on you guys. I know you and Crispy. Did y'all both finish it?
Yes, like the real.
Brad
like,
and Crispy both
for
finished for reals.
For real.
Nier Automata, whatever. I haven't even started it yet. Please,
Neither
without
have I.
without spoiling anything, talk about what y'all thought
that's true.
of the end or of the.
Fire Emblem Awakening.
How did y'all feel about Nier Automata now that you finished it? That's the as a 10,000 foot view.
There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, there's too much to unpack. Almost something you might want to do in like a spoiler cast.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, for sure.
wow, man, this
you know-
game is like an emotional roller coaster.
I will say this, and this might be an unpopular opinion because a lot of people really love this game, and I completely get it. I am one of them. This game was very affecting by the end of it. But it's weird because it's not even really so much the story.
Well, I mean,
I mean, the story.
Divine story.
No,
Divine
stop,
story.
stop. Like I said, people were gonna jump on this.
I just looked
the
for
story
clarification.
the story is very good. There's a lot of misnomers and like dead end trails in the story that kind of just feel like what was that all about? But the and this is where people tell me like, oh no, you're not looking at the bigger picture. But the story had a lot of really good emotional notes to it, and it wraps up in a very, like, in what I thought was actually really satisfying way. I think mechanically how it gets you there is a little wonky at times. Like I don't think it's God damn it! How do you say this?
Talking about this game is hard.
I don't think. No, it's not that. It's how do I say this without pissing Nier fans off?
Maybe don't worry about anybody.
Yeah,
Just say what you want to say.
Like I just don't think that the story is structured quite as well as it could be. I think
What I
there's a lot
heard
of,
from someone else is that A and B should have been like a single playthrough, and I think
It
I agree
really
with
should
that.
have.
Because you know how playthrough C kind of swap back between two characters. They could have done that with 2B and 9S in that first playthrough.
Yeah. In fact, that becomes like a thing, like that whole swap back.
Yeah.
And when that moment starts happening, it's actually really cool
It's
in the
cool.
moment. But it does
Unless
kind
you're
of make
me.
you think like, why didn't you do this before? Like that might have just been a more elegant way to get you from point A to point B. Because I feel like there's a lot of hang time in this game where you're kind of away from the story and you're away from like what this game does really well, which is like that kind of emotional appeal of the story and like the sort of like moral quandary of it, but there's a lot of chances to get kind of sidetracked by that, and part of my problem was that I was only playing this on the feed because I wanted to have it all on the feed. I didn't want to like rush ahead and skip much for it.
Did you do much of the side quests?
I did a fair amount. I didn't do all of them. There was
All of them understandable. I mean, but
I don't
a lot
know.
of the,
I don't know I don't know what percentage of them I did.
Okay.
I did side quests, and I did what I felt like was a very sizable chunk of them. But there were definitely side quests open when I finished the game. Is what I'm saying.
Because some of the best stuff in that game, I think, and some of the most emotionally resonant parts of the game come from like a lot of those side quests for sure.
Yeah. I get that, but a lot of that, like, honestly, let me tell you something. Like some of those side quests, like the ones where people were like, "You need to do this one." There's a lot of like really emotionally heavy stuff there. Like some of those side quests kind of ended up feeling like a wet fart.
Whoa.
Like they kind of felt like I kind of felt like I could peg where it was going, and when it went directly there, I was like, okay. Cool. You didn't really do anything gameplay-wise that was interesting. You didn't really do anything storytelling-wise that was interesting. I get that this is like kind of just adding on to like the emotional weight of the game, and that's cool. But I don't think some of the things. I think I took some stuff away from this game that other people didn't, and I think a lot of what people did take away from this game is not necessarily what I took away. Do you get what I'm saying?
Layered and complex.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
That's fine.
What did you take away?
Honestly, like that's a tough discussion without getting into spoilers. I will say that like I was impressed by the time I got to like the last, let's say, hour of the game. It's the last hour of the gameplay, including the final credits, that really like moved me. Like by the time, if you go back and watch like if you go back and watch the replay from last night of me finishing the game, playing the game, and like doing some of the stuff was really cool, and I was very in the moment and just like, wow, okay, that's a really neat thing that you just did. That's kind of cool. Oh, I guess that's the end of the game. But then like the last like 20 minutes of that whole thing really kind of like started throwing like that's when like Yoko Taro kind of just started like showing his full hand and was just like, this is what.
Are you talking about starting with like the pods?
Okay, careful.
I'm talking about like finishing. I'm talking about like finishing playthrough C and D and like going into E.
Yeah.
Like playthrough E, I would say was the real like emotional payoff of the game. Like by the time I finished the cast and I was like signing off, it was 1:30 in the morning, and I was a little tired, but like I was trying to express like I was so just like gobsmacked
They
by
did
like
something really
by the
cool musically.
very fucking end of the game that like I couldn't explain it. I couldn't even like talk about it, and like I was kind of sitting there thinking about what I'd just seen, and like I was getting a little broken up. Like I was kind of like starting to like.
They did something really cool musically with that moment too.
No.
In the credits.
Musically?
Yeah.
This sounds like
I'm
another thing
not
you should
getting
spoil
that.
in the spoiler cast.
Yeah. I don't know. That's another thing too. Like every time I play this game, really the only thing I hear people talk about is the soundtrack,
Yeah.
which I thought was good, but like honestly, like the amount of praise I don't get it.
Did you just say the amount of Praise.
Yes.
Wait,
They do some cool shit, but it's no.
I can't
No,
speak.
it's
I can't
cool,
speak
but-
to the quality of the soundtrack in 2, but the soundtrack in the
not the-
original Nier is.
Oh, this isn't the original.
Yeah,
I
Nier.
know, but like I can't tell if what you're saying is.
They do some cool shit with the music in there. I'm surprised you don't know what I'm talking about with the credits, but I guess we'll talk about that in the spoiler cast.
I mean, it might be one of those things that you point out, and I kind of like it just like
Yeah,
washed
you're
over me
thinking
like in the moment. There was a lot going on in the credits.
There's a lot
There was
going
a
on
lot
in that
going on,
entire game.
and not only that, like I had a really frustrating thing where like I needed to be connected to the internet for a certain thing, and like my internet wasn't cooperating, and I had to stop in the middle of like my playthrough and like troubleshoot this whole fucking thing. Like it wasn't ideal.
That's
It wasn't
gross.
ideal. But once I got it was at the point where I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm just gonna go to bed. I'm gonna be done. And everyone in chat was like, no, please, just stick it out like another 10 minutes. Just do this. And I did, and I'm glad I did. Like I feel like what I took out of it last night might not have been possible if I'd sat on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'd come back to it later. What I'm saying is, I think that the emotion of the game trumps the story of the game. I don't think the story is really particularly anything to write home about. Please don't kill me.
No, I mean,
But I think what it accomplishes with its characters, and I think what it does to the player emotionally, and I think the story is good enough to support that. But
Yeah.
it doesn't really surpass that. The emotion and like the message and the sort of thesis of the game, the idea that Yoko Taro was putting out there, I think is much more important than like, you know,
What happens moment to
with the
moment.
androids and Yorha and all
yeah,
that.
you're describing
you know?
the first Nier too. Like the same feelings about the story, the plot in that game.
Right.
But I mean, there's so much more to the way this game tells its story.
No, for
that
sure.
Who gives a shit?
For
you
sure,
know?
and like there is a point where like the veneer becomes very thin, and it's literally just kind of like the game talking to you, like trying to convey ideas and emotions directly to the player instead of it just being the story of the game. And when it starts to open up and when it starts to show like its true self and like the kind of truth at its core, that's when I really started responding to it.
There are moments where like I was broadcasting this game and there's like a small like plot detail that someone in chat noticed that maybe I didn't pick up on, and like I get like, and it's like you said, like I don't think that is where this game's story is effective anyways. Yeah. So I don't understand why people are getting so frustrated when I miss a little thing like that, when it's more of like this emotional thing.
I was
and
getting
this,
a lot of that too during my playthroughs.
Yeah, and it's like you don't have to watch the stage play that was like the third Pearl Harbor or whatever. That's a thing. I don't know. The battle of the third battle.
Yeah,
of Pearl Harbor.
like keeping the continuity of Nier
that's not what's important.
straight is not like a thing.
It's
to
good
me.
character moments. It's stuff with
Yeah.
certain characters, and that's ultimately why I prefer the first game to the second game, because I think you spend that entire game with like this small cast of like misfits that you're with kind of the whole time, and I think that makes that those character moments like constant, while in this game you're often by yourself and ultimately I found the gameplay in this game just kind of boring.
There's a couple characters. That are kind of like constant presences in the game, and seeing what happens to them is obviously very gratifying. There are even characters that aren't really characters until like the very end of the game, and then that whole process is more of the payoff. But I agree. Like there are parts of this game that are like direct callbacks to like the story in the first Nier, that even if you hadn't played the first Nier, they're still effective because of how they play it, like the emotion that they put into it. You know what I mean?
There is a connection to the original.
There is, but
Direct.
but let me tell you something, Nick. Like
Doesn't
Bruce
matter.
Willis shows up at the end.
I thought it mattered more in the beginning. By the time I got to the end of this game, like to me, it feels like it doesn't fucking matter.
I think this
Like,
game takes place thousands of years later, just so it doesn't have to really matter. But there's like an emphasis on like the way time progresses.
I mean, it
in
doesn't
this
really
world,
matter much.
to where,
Anyways,
like,
I don't remember the specific. I don't specifically remember what even happened at the end of Nier.
But
Yeah, I don't think any piece of information about this game matters. I think the emotion of the game is what matters.
Okay, that's
boom.
all right. we need to move on. But
the game.
I think
plays
I think
fair.
this conversation is just kind of cemented in my mind that after I finish Prey, of the 3 games that I could potentially start next, I'm going to start Nier.
It's something to experience.
Not Yakuza.
Like it's.
No,
I say
Yakuza wasn't one of the options right now.
Can I say I really like the third character?
Yes. And
I wish I played a whole game.
especially
of her
especially for me like I remember there was a specific choice that you have to make towards the end, and I made a choice, and it's kind of between these two characters, and I made a choice, and somebody made a comment about like, oh well, everyone always picks that character, but the other character is so much more is so much better developed throughout the game, and honestly, I take issue with that. I don't think any of the characters are really that developed. I don't think any of the story is really that developed. I don't think the plot or the through line of the game is really that strong or even really that important to the overall product. You know what I'm saying?
It's
like there don't get me wrong. There's definitely some really cool moments where certain character motivations are revealed at the end of the game, and then you go back and you look at stuff at the beginning of the game, and it's like, oh, that's why that character was doing this. That's why that character was acting like that, and that's cool, and that's like interesting, and it adds a bit of veracity to the whole experience. But it's not what's really important.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, we'll get more into that in our spoiler.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, by the way, we did record a spoiler cast for Horizon, and I have the audio ready to go for that, so I'll be getting that up soon. But yeah, I think y'all should definitely record a spoiler cast for Nier. And to be honest, this conversation sounds incredibly interesting. I honestly have no idea what the hell you're talking about,
Agreed.
though, because simply because I've never played it.
Couldn't really spoil it.
I know, and I don't
it's
want
like
you
trying
to.
to spoil the last episode of Twin Peaks for someone who's never seen Twin Peaks.
And I don't want you to spoil it for me, but at the same time, what you're saying sounds really, really, really interesting.
I mean, it is absolutely worth checking out. This was a great game. I'm glad that I took the time to finish this game. Like, I'm very glad. Not for any reason that has to do with the website or anything, but just like as having experienced a piece of art, I'm very glad for it.
How long did it take y'all to finish it? Just out of curiosity, from like to get all the way through all the endings?
I think I was somewhere around like 40 hours or something.
Oh, wow.
I think it was 40 for me.
God damn, guys. God damn. All right. Well, I have a couple games I just want to briefly mention, and I don't want to spend more than a minute or two on each one of these, but I did finish 2 games in the past week. I played all the way through Little Nightmares, which we talked about briefly last week.
It's a nice little thing.
I just want to say that game is like, it doesn't have to be the deepest game or like the most involved game on a mechanical level. Like, that game appeals to me for almost the exact same reasons that I fucking love like Inside and Limbo, and it's such a haunting game. We're not even going to run this footage for very long, but like, this game is fucking beautiful. And I finished it. I still have my brain is going in like 5 or 6 different directions as to what it even means, and something about finishing a game and just kind of like being left to your own devices and kind of having to sit there and think about, okay, what did this mean? What did it mean to me as a player? Was it trying to say anything specific? Like, I have some ideas, but like, it's such a cool, and not to mention just the fact that I could fucking sit down and finish it literally in like one sitting. I did it in 2, but like it's so rewarding. And I will tell you this right now: it has, for a game that only took me about 3 hours to finish, I can assure you that by the end of the year, when we're doing our 2017 awards and we're talking about our favorite moments of the year, there are going to be moments from this game that are going to come up. Kind of the same way maybe not in the exact same way, but we talked a lot about Inside last year, and like that has in particular actually it has like 3 or 4 moments throughout that entire game that like sit on the back of your mind long after you finish it. And I think this game is very, very similar to that.
Well, what about Outlast? Did that resonate with you as much?
Outlast resonated with me in the sense that like to me, Little Nightmares is very much like once you finish it and you pull back and you think about it, like the overall experience was very like, that was a very pleasant, charming, interesting experience. Outlast 2, which is the other game I finished this past week, looking back on it, I don't feel the same way about it, even than I did about the first Outlast, or I definitely don't feel the same way about it as I do about Little Nightmares. It's more of like, from a moment to moment, on a moment to moment basis, playing Outlast was a thrill. Like, you're being chased there's a lot of different things happening in that game. Every scene change is really dramatic. Every time you change, you're in like a different chapter or you move on to a different portion of the game, you're doing something or you're in an area that is equally terrifying and fucked up, and you have no idea what's going on. In fact, I finished this game. I think the biggest thing I can say about this game, I finished it. It's kind of like the first Outlast. I finished it. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck happened. And part of me is like okay with that because I do like horror that doesn't expressly tell you what the fuck it's trying to say. And that's the same reason why I really ended up liking Little Nightmares. But like, there was something like this game ended. It just fucking it. I got to a point. I thought I still had like another chapter to go, and I hit a point and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And then it was just over. And then you could people were watching me in the feed and they were like, wait, what? I was like that was it? That was the end? Which really surprised me.
Nick, that was ending A. You have to play ending B.
It's not like that. No, it's not like that. I kind of wish it was.
I think my biggest problem with Outlast is that it looked a little too much like Little Nightmares.
Wait, what?
He's just talking about the footage still rolling when he's talking about
okay.
Outlast.
Yeah, they're still running Little Nightmares footage. But yeah, people could watch me play that game in the feed, and you can see the moment in my face when I realized, oh, this is it. This is ending. Mm-hmm. And I remember reading about this game, and I read a few reviews before I play the game, whatever. And I remember the one continuous thread throughout all the reviews that I read was the person who was writing the review finished it by saying, the ending of this game stuck with me for weeks. And I was just sitting here thinking, like,
Outlast.
How many reviews that you read said that? Because if it's actually more than 2, I'm going to actually play this game. I got in it from Gamefly and I sent it back. I was like,
I can't remember how many I read. I don't read like every review that comes out. I remember reading like 2 or 3 different reviews, and that was one thing. They were like, the ending of this game was like really memorable, and I finished it, and it was just kind of like, oh, it just kind of ended. But there are a couple things. God damn it, guys! There are a couple things that happened like right at the tail end of that game that I could totally understand looking back on and thinking about, and then realizing, oh, that's what the fuck they were saying, or that's what the fuck that meant. But like, at the time, it didn't make
it's about
any
string
sense.
theory.
I mean, not to mention there are some. I will say this. I did go back and I read like a pretty in-depth like synopsis of the game from start to finish because it is a pretty convoluted, confusing story. And I got to and there are some direct connections to the original Outlast, which sounds crazy if you've played the first Outlast, but like there are things happening in the first Outlast that had an impact and a direct impact on what happens in Outlast 2. And some of the crazy stuff that happens at the end, a lot of that stuff where you're going back, like the flashbacks where you're going back into school and you're seeing that girl that hung herself, like that stuff is really interesting, and that ends up being pivotal to the plot. But some of the obscure, weird horror shit that happens is like mindfucky, and I haven't quite decided yet whether I think it's a good thing or a bad thing.
If you like to see stuff like girls hanging themselves, you should play Nier Automata. All kinds of those feelings in Nier.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, it is probably the saddest game I've ever played.
Wonderful.
There is some really fucked up sad things that happen to it, but I think the final moments of that game offer you a really nice sense of catharsis.
Spoilers.
See, I don't think Outlast 2 did that.
No.
It's weird. It's to kind of summarize. I really enjoyed Outlast 2, but it was more of like I enjoyed the moment to moment chase. I spent the last 2.5 hours of that game, 3 hours, constantly being chased, and it was a fucking intense ride. You spend a chunk there's a part in that game at the very end where you're literally 800 feet underground in a mine, in a room half filled with water, no lights on, and there is a dude walking around through the water trying to find you, and you can hide underwater, and he's carrying a light so you can kind of see his light in the water as he's walking around, but you can't hold your breath forever, so you have to like poke your head up and like breathe, but the moment you do, he sees you. Like shit, like they put you in a lot of scenarios like that, which are really, really interesting. And when you layer that on top of the fact that they're constantly surprising you by scene changing out of nowhere, and suddenly you're in like that school in the past, or whatever, like that stuff is really, really cool. And I respect the game a lot for that kind of stuff. And I definitely want to see this series continue. It's some really out there horror. Like borderline science fiction.
That
Cool.
So
Has piqued my interest.
I would say it's worth playing if you can stomach the thought of being chased.
No, I can't.
Okay.
Yeah, pass.
Gotcha.
Hard pass.
But the time travel
hard
stuff
pass.
is cool, right?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I mean, you are kind of time traveling when you
I mean,
think about it.
you're kind of a time travel superhero.
Shut the fuck up.
He's not lying.
Wait, but are you?
Yes. Totally.
And your name is Booster Gold.
Wait, really?
Is
Crispy's-
Booster Gold a time traveling superhero?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
why he's your fucking favorite. You motherfucker.
He's not my favorite.
Welcome to the fucking present day, Brad.
but yes, that has a lot to do with it.
Hey, Nick,
Yes.
what's in the news?
Okay, we've got some news. I'm gonna let Chris Davis hit us because we got 4 or 5 of them. So I'm gonna let Chris Davis hit us with an overlay, and we're just gonna take it from there.
Because we don't remember.
No, I remember all of them.
All
So I
right,
don't know.
hit
where-
us with the overlay.
Surprise us.
We just
Chris
have
Davis.
a big lever that Chris Davis pulls, and it pops up a
And
random.
he's
we
gonna
got?
pull the first one right now.
All right, Far Cry.
Oh man, we're starting with bad news. So following the
Mass Effect, no.
following the how would you describe this lukewarm reception?
Mediocre. Mediocre.
Mediocre, lukewarm reception of Mass Effect, and the kind of the debacle of the technical debacle of the game following release.
Yeah, I'm sure that had mostly to do with sales.
Stumbling on their poor
Yeah, but I
facial
think that impacted sales a lot. Like a lot of negative
animation.
response right out of the gate for Mass Effect probably had a pretty dire impact
You know
on
what it
sales.
is, though? You know what I really think it is strong as this fandom is for Mass Effect,
It got nobody mass erect.
I think that, I don't think any game in the series really sold to like EA's expectations. I think it's very similar to the Dead Space series, which is like a series, especially at the beginning, that people loved and respected, but it didn't like set the wider mainstream on fire. They weren't buying it, and I feel like maybe Mass Effect never quite sold all that crazy. So to have a 4th one come out that they spent more time on, they spent more money on, and probably sold less than even 3. That's usually when they're
It's just
like,
weird because they put their when you think about it, they kind of put, I don't want to say B team, but they kind of put their B team on a sequel to Mass Effect.
Why do you say B team?
It's not the team that worked on the original Mass Effect trilogy. I mean, that's why I didn't want to say B team necessarily.
Say
but
Team
like,
2.
Team 2, yeah. Like they didn't.
This is
put
the Dark Souls 2 of Mass Effect.
They didn't put a proven development team on a sequel to one of their,
Yeah.
biggest IPs. It's kind of sad. But
It is real sad.
following the mediocre, lukewarm reception of Mass Effect, BioWare has gone and said that for the foreseeable future, the immediate future of Mass Effect is on hiatus. It's on hold.
Damn.
Like they have apparently shelved any immediate plans to work on a sequel to Andromeda. That's not to say necessarily that Mass Effect won't be coming back at any point, but it's certainly not going to be like 2 years from now we're going to be playing another Mass Effect game.
Yeah.
That's a damn shame because Mass Effect Andromeda was far from a perfect game.
Yeah.
But it definitely put the series on this track that I think
Could have been very interesting.
was a lot better than where it was going.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well,
Could have been great.
at least Dragon Age sells well.
Yeah.
I mean,
You hoping?
I guess it did, yeah. So, but they're also restructuring that studio. Like they're moving people around and like having them work on. Like BioWare is also working on a new IP right now, which
KOTOR 3. Come on, get the Mass Effect team and do KOTOR 3.
dude.
I'll forgive Mass Effect going away if they bring back
yeah,
KOTOR.
if they just put BioWare Montreal, the studio, on a sequel to like a straight up
What
sequel
if it
to
sucks?
KOTOR.
What if they ruin Mass
Dude,
Effect
I
and
don't-
then ruin KOTOR?
Dude, I don't
didn't
think
ruin it.
Yeah, I don't think KOTOR coming back is good. I'm terrified of KOTOR 3. I'm terrified that they're going to put out a KOTOR 3 and it's going to be
all
like
of a sudden this Mass Effect Andromeda team's not good enough.
No.
You just got through saying
No. I said it wasn't a perfect game.
Mercury Steam's doing it.
That's fucking terrible. I don't know.
Fuck off.
A big part of this is probably the fact that I haven't played KOTOR in a really long time, and I just have these like rose-tinted memories of beating that game for the first time. Like I don't know. Like I feel like EA is a machine that churns out mediocre crap.
That's not news.
So I mean anything that you put into it, like you can only expect so much coming out of it, you know?
First of all, that's a broad generalization.
It is, but
Nick,
I don't think it's
average out all
entirely
their
unfair.
games.
I was to say, if you want to look at it from an average perspective, sure. But I can also tell you, like, there are a lot of games that I adore that have come out of EA.
I mean, yeah, you're kind of crazy.
Me?
Yeah.
Only
Why?
kind of though.
I mean, would you say like Battlefield 1 or the Battlefield series is mediocre?
that you out of all the series you could have chosen, you went with Battlefield.
No,
You
that's
had
what
that?
Battlefield is like. Not only like one of the best-selling
Okay, but what
franchises
about-
out there, but is like insanely well respected
What
as
about-
just a good online multiplayer shooter.
What about Battlefront?
We've gotten so far off topic.
You know, Battlefront. But Battlefront 2 looks promising.
Look, listen, there will always be outliers. I'm not saying that EA can't put out a good game. I'm not saying they can't put out a great game. I'm just saying odds are, if you're rolling the dice, odds are it can only be so good.
You hold your tongue until they've put out that new Star Wars game with Amy Hennig, okay?
No, for sure, for sure. I'm penning all of my future Star Wars video game hopes on that project, but like, I can't let myself believe. I can't.
understand.
You butthole.
By the way,
Dragon Age Inquisition got a bunch of Game of the Year awards.
you know what I
It
meant?
did, but is Dragon Age Inquisition?
It's good. There's
The
a weird
best of
backlash
the
because
series?
of Witcher. Well, come on, Origins is
Is
one
it
of the best of all
isn't it an
time.
experience that stays with you? Is it something that sustains you and entertains you and fills you while you're playing it, and then you stop playing it and you're kind of just like, okay, whatever.
I
That
can
didn't
say
really
this.
affect me.
I finished Dragon Age 1 and 2, loved them both. I played Dragon Age Inquisition for like 10 hours
Came
and I
out at the end of
stopped.
the year though.
Yeah, it did come out at a
It
bad
did.
time.
It did.
That's true.
I get what you're coming from.
But I
Crispy,
played
don't
that whole
disagree.
game. I played that whole game, and it was great at the time. But it's not something. It's not something that's ever going to set the world on fire. It's not something I don't know. I'm saying that. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who have completely different reactions, and I
One day
understand
I'll go
that,
back and I'll play that
but-
game, yeah, maybe not.
All right, what's else? What
By
else
the way,
in
you know what I
news?
found out recently? Robin's favorite game ever made is the original Dead Space. That is her number one.
She just needs to play more games.
That is true.
Has she
but
played
Dead
Final
Space
Fantasy
1,
Tactics?
Dead Space 1 is fucking fantastic, and I am.
Wait. Has she
If-
played Resident Evil 4?
No.
Okay, get out.
Has she played Assassin's Creed Brotherhood?
Are y'all giving away your top 10s right now? By the way,
Has she played Spyro's Ripto's Rage?
Has she played
yes,
Portal?
actually, she has.
Has she played that
if they-
Sony
if-
Smash game?
If we do
Sony
not
All Stars.
if we do not get an announcement for Dead Space 4 this year,
That's a series that's
wouldn't.
been on ice.
Yeah, I
See,
would.
that's an example of a series that after 3 came out, EA I think was
it's been like 4 years.
Has she played Lost Planet
It's
2?
no. It's been like no one's played Lost Planet 2. It's been like 4 years since Dead Space 3 at this point, and we have a new generation of hardware out there. That series would be amazing on it, I'm sure.
I'll tell you this much: no one at EA has any idea what to do with Dead Space. Is my guess.
Hey, I thought
In all fairness, what do you do with Dead Space? They've
Exactly.
done 3 games out of that. What do they do now?
Exactly.
dude,
in 3.
I
Nick,
think
it's
y'all are
like-
both crazy.
No,
first
no,
of
no,
all.
no, no.
Dead
It's like
Space on the Sun.
Wait, don't put me on the
No,
spot.
what do you do with Dead Space?
I said
You
Dead
make
Space
more
on
Dead
the Sun.
Space. You put it on a different planet.
can't.
You
3
just put it-
was not well received.
Put it in the
gross.
same universe. I would even take. To me, Dead Space isn't synonymous with fighting necromorphs. It could be anything. Like
Dead Space at the
Dead-
bottom of the sea.
Dead Space, is to me like Bioshock Infinite. Like those are two. Like it could be
the
anything.
game
Like,
is called Dead Space.
I don't even know.
Dead Space.
We're getting off topic here.
Yeah.
Point is, I thought the same thing about Mirror's Edge, and if they can make a sequel to Mirror's Edge, I think they can find the time and the money to make a sequel to Dead Space. That's all I'm saying. Like I never thought in a million bazillion years we would get a sequel to Mirror's
it was
Edge. And you know
definitely the
what?
last one.
We got we got it, and you know what? That was like my second favorite game of last year. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, that still kind of surprises me. Of everything on your list,
I
But
played
didn't
played
really
a
play.
shit ton of it, and that game when it clicks with you, it clicks really well.
How about we move on to the next news topic?
Yeah. What
Sorry.
other sad news do we have, Chris
'Cause
Davis?
there's more.
I know what he's gonna hit us with next. It's gonna be another sad topic.
No.
this one's
this is
fucked.
surprising.
It doesn't make
and
sense.
Sad
Yeah.
and like
Hitman.
fuck.
Didn't Hitman do well?
I get-
Not well enough.
The answer is no.
Yeah.
That's
You
fucking
don't-
disgusting.
I don't think you understand
Square
Square
Enix.
Enix
Yeah.
what they want out of
Their
games.
metrics are
They
like
want, I remember the day
10
that-
million copies.
I remember the day they said they wanted to sell like 6 million copies on like first month of Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you fucking out of your mind?
Yeah.
Okay, what does this mean?
Their expectations
Square
are
Enix
ridiculous.
is parting ways with IO Interactive, which is weird.
Does
IO
Square Enix own Hitman?
no IO.
No, IO Interactive does, I believe. So I have a feeling that's just.
But I mean, they were wholly owned by Square Enix.
No, they're wholly owned by IDOS, which is owned by Square Enix.
Wholly owned by Square Enix.
Right, but that's part of the IDOS.
Montreal.
That's part of their assets, though, right? If
No,
they
but-
sell off the company, they're selling off everything.
No, they're not selling IDOS.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, IDOS.
There is no IDOS. They're all just
IDOS.
properties of Square Enix. They're getting rid of a studio.
They're not getting rid of the
If
studio.
IO takes Hitman,
well,
Square
sorry, I guess
Enix
they
is
are.
letting them have it.
They're trying to sell IO Interactive.
But
And
I
if-
mean, like
the thing is,
Volition got
it's-
sold to Nordic.
Yeah.
But no, Volition got sold to Deep Silver. But
Deep Silver.
But Red Faction didn't go with them.
Yeah.
Nordic kept that. You know.
But they were like auctioning off all assets.
But I think that's
piecemeal.
what's going to happen.
Wasn't that?
It's possible.
Yeah, that's true. That's
But
true.
the impression that I got from the early reports was that Square Enix was looking for somebody to buy IO, like to just buy the whole studio.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they were like looking to gut it and like start selling off assets left and right.
Well, no, it's a situation where they're trying to sell
I
the
don't think
studio,
that comes
but
with the projects.
But no,
Correct.
the projects are not included. So IO's going to go. Maybe someone else buys them, and they start creating non-Hitman games. But Square Enix is still going to own Hitman, and what's going to happen with it?
Which means
What's
any-
happening
any
this
work
season-
that
They're
are-
specifically not selling that.
That
As part
hasn't
of
been
the whole
mentioned.
thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of up in the air. it
That's
seems
usually
like,
how that
but,
works, though.
I mean, I'll tell you right now. I feel like part of the reasoning for this is the weird ass release structure they chose for Hitman. I don't think that did it any favors.
You know, I don't think that's it.
I mean, I'm not saying that's 100%.
It's part of it. I think what happened, because look at the timing. I think that they expected this thing to come out at retail, like it did at the beginning of the year, and do way, way better than it did. But once it hit retail, no one talked about it.
Well, I mean, because so many people had already played it.
Because
I mean, some people did, but probably, obviously, not that many. I think they expected like 2 million people to pick it up at retail, and that didn't happen.
I know this is very.
selling games at retail is. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
I mean, I'm just like. Just take me for instance. I'm like the kind of person who was like, I was just like, I'll wait for the retail copy because I'd rather do that. And the retail copy came out, and it's like I feel like the ship has sailed. I just don't give a shit anymore.
No,
Yeah,
for sure.
that's a bummer, though.
And selling video games in a retail market is so dependent on that early excitement
Yes.
and surge of sales, like in the
It doesn't
first
feel new
month.
anymore.
It's early
If you've been doling it out piecemeal over a year and everyone's kind of tempered to it, there isn't going to be this like huge. I need to go pick
There
this
is
up
no
day one sort of
guarantee.
thing. That I mean, it's a recipe for failure.
There is no guarantee that anyone who purchased Hitman Episode 1 was going to still be excited enough to pick up Hitman Episode 2 when it came out, even if they loved Hitman Episode 1. Like,
season.
See, I
or
mean,
wait, no episode. Okay.
yeah, if they had played the first episode, waited 3 months, and then, like, even if they loved the first one, like, there is no guarantee that person would be like, you know what? I really feel like doing that again. I'm going to do Episode 2. Like, it just... I feel like that was a real gamble, and I don't think it paid off.
I think it's a
Although I am really
situation-
surprised that if that does have anything to do with it, that's the kind of decision that would lead to this. This is dramatic.
I have a feeling this episodic structure was the only way this Hitman game was allowed to get made.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's probably the case.
Like, we're not going to give you the money and time to make a full Hitman game, so you can try this method. And maybe it didn't work out so
the
well.
thing that sucks about that is, I think it's a scenario like Crispy kind of mentioned. Yeah, the episode 1 was released, and everyone was like, "Yeah, it's pretty good."
Yeah.
And then, so why are people going to pick up season pass? Episode 2 comes out. Hey, this is pretty good, and people are like, I'm still skeptical. I'm going to wait. And the problem is they wait and they wait and they wait, and then other games come out, and they're like, whatever. And like, yeah, it's exactly the scenario
think
that
the
with
hype
Nick.
is gone.
Like we're talking about how much we love Hitman, and Nick was like, I can't wait to play it. And then it finally comes out, and he's like, there's other games, whatever. I mean,
It's an amazing game on a disc, and
The
you don't want it.
The momentum's
I
gone.
mean, maybe if I get through all those other games at some point and I have like a month or two downtime and I'm looking for something to play, like
Yeah,
But,
I
but
guess
let me just say
when
though,
is that gonna happen?
Hitman, this new Hitman, is a fantastic fucking game. It sucks that this situation is happening because by the time I finished this, all 6 episodes, I was like, sign me up for season 2 right now.
Yeah.
Like I am excited for season 2. Like I want this fucking game.
I guess that's not happening.
And yeah, what's going on with that now?
I don't.
I mean, it certainly would. This is a particular situation where it wouldn't make any sense at all for them to like get rid of IO Interactive and then give that project to someone else.
Yeah,
like that wouldn't make any sense.
Especially
Like,
because
this
they're
is
doing
so-
all this Marvel stuff now.
it's so
I thought IO
specific to
Interactive
IO.
was one of the studios that was going to help with their Marvel projects.
Apparently
as well.
not.
Apparently not.
Maybe they lost that deal, and maybe this is why this is happening.
Maybe that's getting scaled back a little, and nobody knows.
Or maybe they're just trying to funnel all of their, but like maybe they're just trying to funnel more of their funds into that instead of anything else outside of that deal. Like maybe they just didn't want to. They're like, well, out of all these things, all these properties that we own, we have Tomb Raider, we have Final Fantasy, we have Hitman.
They're probably trying to sell.
like which one of those?
They're
could go
selling
and-
IO Interactive to make up for the huge loss that was Final Fantasy 15.
No, Final Fantasy 15 did well. I mean, it cost them so much money.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying.
I think it did.
Over time, they've spent so
profitable.
much fucking money on. Like, does anyone know what the budget was for marketing on that game? Because that had to have been millions.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
do you see how much of advertisement was for that game? It's like buses and TV shows and commercials.
Am
and
I
all of
imagining
this
it though?
shit.
There was a point like a month or two ago where the Square Enix came out and said, "By the way, we just broke even."
Do you,
Which sounds fucking crazy to me, considering how long the game was in development.
do you think this might have more to do with not the lack of success of IO Interactive, but more that Square Enix is suffering and it needs the money?
That's what I'm saying. I think overall, Square Enix just needs the money. So they're like, you know what? Let's sell off this studio.
How well did Rise of the Tomb Raider perform? I mean, that was.
I think the thing that they did with Microsoft really hurt them.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, of course it did.
Because when it came out on PS4, no one.
Of course,
no one
that was,
gave
and
a
that's
shit.
what I said. Like when I first heard about that, I was like, "Why are you gonna give what could be a good game to? I don't want to say a dying console, but I mean, it's not exactly
An
doing
underperforming
Yeah,
console?
I mean, like, why would you like? There are two contending consoles out there. One's clearly doing much better than the other. Why would you release your game exclusively for the lower system?
Not that there's
like, it
any,
just
like-
doesn't make sense to me.
Not that there's any connection here or, at all. I'm not basing those stuff on anything, but God, how pissed would you be to think about the fact that if they had just decided to make Rise of the Tomb Raider multi-platform at launch, they could have potentially not gotten rid of IO Interactive? Like, that could have been a contributing factor to, like,
could
oh
be.
shit, we are bleeding money. We got to get rid of something.
Yeah.
Goodbye, IO Interactive. Like,
But then again, that Microsoft deal might have been the only way like that game got made. Who knows?
Oh,
Who knows?
there's still more news to talk about.
Yeah.
maybe perhaps less negative news. This is actually the kind of news I was eager to talk about. Well, let's see which one he hits us with.
Miyamoto died.
Oh shit! Far Cry 5,
A
rumored Western set in Montana.
Okay, Far Cry
This is
5.
sad news,
different.
too.
Okay, no, I mean it depends on how you look at it. So, Far Cry 5, we're starting to get some rumors. This is all kind of weird speculation because a lot of this is based off of someone. There's been some detective work going on at NeoGAF, and there's been some letters that have come into like Giant Bomb and whatnot from people claiming to be close to the project and that kind of stuff. But like, it's looking more and more like. Well, the one thing that seems to be the consistent thread here is that Far Cry 5, which I'm assuming is going to be announced either before E3 or at E3, is supposedly takes place in Montana. The earlier assumption of that was
But
that
why?
the
Far
earlier
Cry
assumption
5
was that it was
Brokeback
going to
Mountain.
be a western, like a spaghetti western, like late 19th century spaghetti western in
How could it be a spaghetti western? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Spaghetti westerns are like Italian movies.
Yeah, not only that, they didn't come out in the late 19th century.
Anyway, a western,
guys.
An old, like,
Western.
okay, like yeah, okay,
Fine, a western,
Right.
sure,
A Red Dead-esque
sure.
western with Far Cry mechanics,
Far Cry
whatever
Dead.
that means.
But-
at this
I
point,
don't think it's that.
but
Yeah.
it's not. It's starting. There's The only confirmed thing that not confirmed, like the thing that seems to be most likely is that
There's
yes,
speculation.
it is. The most logical piece of the thing you could take away from this is that it is most likely going to take place in Montana. What it seems to be now, the heavy rumor that it's kind of changed, is that it's actually a modern day game, takes place in modern day Montana, and you play a cop.
But why?
Yeah, that's
You play a cop who's trying to a rebel drug cartel or
the drug cartel that big in Montana.
Are there people
I don't know
in
what you call it.
Montana?
I'm not a.
What is one of
guys
is
are
one of your
busting my
mission
balls
is
here.
one of your missions to capture a cow that got out of its pen?
Dude.
I don't
I don't think
know.
it's necessarily the drug cartel.
It has something to do with drugs in Montana. You're a cop trying to take back a town that has been overrun by.
Are there wingsuits and gyrocopters?
Good question.
Beats the shit out of me.
Well, so that's the thing.
Here's the
like-
thing.
like-
I was super excited when this rumor was that the game was going to be
yeah, because all the Far Cry
Western.
games are modern day. I just wanted something in a different time.
I loved Far Cry Primal. In fact, Far
Well, I
Cry
guess
Primal is
Primal
still
wasn't.
my favorite. I think Far Cry Primal is probably my favorite Far Cry game at this point. I really like it when they go outside the box and do, I feel like at this point, Far Cry 3 and 4 are representative of what, that when you think of Far Cry, that's kind of what you think of, right?
Those are good games.
I like to see them go outside the box. I love Blood Dragon, maybe for slightly different reasons, but I like it when they kind of think outside the box. And a few years ago, Ubisoft actually put out a survey to fans of Far Cry, saying of these potential settings, locations, what would you like to see us do with Far Cry in the future?
and
One of
they
the
all
options,
said Montana.
Set it in feudal Japan.
one of the options was
Or
a Western.
Egypt.
Sure.
And it seems like
I
okay,
could see
so
it.
that maybe that's come into pass here. None of this has been confirmed, so we don't really know one way or another what this is actually
Man,
going to be.
This says you play as a cop. Maybe it's more like you're playing as a sheriff, and it's kind of like small town, heroin operations and stuff, or meth operations
Opium.
and whatnot. What if it's going to be more inspired by something like Justified or Breaking Bad, which is modern day, but it kind of has.
That I didn't think about that, but the fact that you just dropped Justified made me really excited.
There
because
has
that
to
could
be
cool.
some kind of drug in the game. Because there's always a drug.
Sure.
And you're gonna take it at some
But
point.
I think here's the implication. On one hand, I'm kind of bummed that it's looking like it's not going to be a traditional Western. On the other hand, the fact that if they are going to set it in modern day Montana, I feel like that has implications as to what that game actually is, because a traditional Far Cry game would not work.
It's going to be called
modern day Montana.
So that's what I'm saying. Are you gonna be a cop running around and you skin a dog?
Yeah,
and you're killing people's cats and stuff.
Yeah, there's so many mechanics that would have to go out the window or be completely
I got some cat
restructured.
paws. I need to get four more.
They could call it Far Cry Flyover State.
At this point, I don't know what the fuck to expect. Either way, I'm interested enough now that I'm just kind of dying to know what the fuck it actually is.
Yeah.
And
we'll find out soon.
We'll find out
probably.
very soon. My guess is that they're gonna reveal this before the month is up, and then there's gonna be a full reveal at E3. That's my guess.
I think there's at least one more piece of news.
Yeah, and it's also Ubisoft related.
Yep.
It's Assassin's Creed related.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Origins, which is looking like it's going to be the name of this year's Assassin's Creed game. The one that takes place in Egypt, which is all but confirmed. In fact, everything about this game at this point is all but confirmed.
The screenshot is what's got me excited.
The screenshot looks...
Assassinate the crocodile.
Yeah, the objective in the top corner is assassinate the crocodile. I'm assuming the crocodile is a name they gave
Probably.
someone. I'm going to assume.
It's Egypt. They have,
Or it's a tutorial mission.
It could be. They have the Anubis and stuff like that. So it could be a guy just wearing a crocodile. It's like Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid 3. It's just a guy with a crocodile on his head.
I have some details, and these are the little things that like I said, rumor right now, but
Yeah.
they're also treating it as leaks, and this could very well all come to pass. It looks like Egypt is without a doubt probably going to be what this game is going to be.
Grown.
Fuck off, first of all. Second of all, this is apparently in development with the guys who made Black Flag. Naval combat's returning. In fact, the screenshot, he is in a boat.
Yeah, a little boat, but
A little boat.
Were the Egyptians big into naval combat?
Well, it's on the Mediterranean. It's on the
Yeah,
Mediterranean.
I
River
know-
Nile,
I know where Egypt is, but
The
still, were
largest-
Egyptians much into naval combat?
the largest river.
Well, I don't think they're just gonna pick up. They're not just gonna like uplift the naval combat from Assassin's Creed 4 and just drop it into this one. Like it's.
They didn't have cannonballs, Brad. They launched sphinxes at the other ships.
I don't know. I don't know
The
what
Sphinx shot
it means.
lasers at it.
Exactly.
It's going to
yeah.
be canoes on the Nile,
See,
and
this
you're
is
poking each
y'all.
other with
Y'all asked me why I don't want to have a. Y'all asked me
Nick,
why I didn't want to have
I'm
a conversation
excited for
about
this game. I'm excited for this game. I'm excited for the potential.
I'm just telling.
that this
Brad
game
keeps
holds.
doubting. Like I keep telling Brad like why I don't want to do that spoiler cast. You keep trying to get me to do, and this is why.
They're going to be launching
Wait,
obelisks.
but I mean, nobody said anything that's so like. Yeah, I mean, even I will play an Assassin's Creed game if it looks
I am
dope.
fully-
I like Black Flag.
I am fully erect for this. If this,
Dude,
if this
the
is
last
like,
Assassin's
But see,
Creed.
no
Hold
one
on.
is like grabbing
Whoa!
your. No one's grabbing your boner and saying you're not allowed to have this.
Hold
Nick.
on.
We're just at half match.
I'm taking this away from you, Nick.
oh my god.
Hold
That's
on.
fucking
What was the
weird.
last game that came out? Syndicate? Was that the
Syndicate,
last
yeah.
official game? That game was fucking great.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, why? I don't know why people would like be like, "Oh, this game's gonna suck." Like the last Assassin's Creed game was pretty fucking
You
good.
know what else? Looks like they're gonna do. Okay, stop grabbing my fake wiener.
Are they going to bring?
Flicking your boner.
Are they going to bring multiplayer back?
Probably not.
They haven't said anything about that yet. I doubt it.
Those motherfuckers.
But they are. It looks like they are gonna do
Yeah.
the two main lead characters again, male and
My
female.
question is, are they gonna bring back the best thing from the worst game, which was co-op and Unity?
Oh yeah.
Because I hated Unity,
Please
but when
no.
me and
Has anyone tried
Jaeger
going back to that
and
since it's been
MGS and like Chai or something, I can't remember who the fourth. So
was there.
when we were Crispy, you were there for a bit. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. It's
Remember,
fantastic.
like people were just falling out of the sky, like dying.
Oh yeah,
I
that,
played
we kept
that.
getting
I did
shot
a-
over and over. Yeah,
I did a
Dude,
little bit of that with y'all.
That was fucking great. I loved that.
If this is really an origin story, are they going to kind of? I feel like in recent games they've been trying to get rid of modern day.
There is
stuff
modern day
nearly
stuff.
altogether. But do you think it's going to go kind of
Desmond
like
is still gone.
fully committed to like how it used to be, where like that is a big deal?
You can't,
As opposed to just
but you
kinda-
can't jump into bales of hay. What are you gonna do?
Jump in the
Big piles of sand.
I didn't want to
Dive
say
in-
it. I didn't want to say
Soft
it, but I'm
sand.
glad Crispy
Soft
did.
Some little piles of rubble from where
I
they're
don't know,
building the.
I don't know about
the
you, but
pyramids.
if you could think about jumping off of a really tall building and landing on a pile of sand,
Here's a question.
that does not.
Dude, think about jumping off of a really tall building and landing in a cart full of hay.
How do you dive off the top of a pyramid? That's really
Exactly, you
challenging.
don't.
You're gonna
you
shit.
fucking slide
Yes,
down
you're
it.
gonna fucking Breath of the Wild slide and skate down the pyramid.
You're gonna have a wingsuit. They're gonna try to come up with an Egyptian wingsuit.
Yeah.
You could dive off an obelisk.
There is also rumors that
you
as
get
part
up
of the naval combat, you might even be able to traverse the
gotta
Mediterranean.
Mulan your way up.
You might be able to cross the Mediterranean and actually get into Greece, like the coast of Greece.
That's actually interesting.
Hit me up with some Santorini, fam.
So
I've
you're
been
saying
there.
I could leave the boring part of the game and go to like a kind of cool part.
You can go fuck yourself, Crispy. Long and hard, okay? This is the game I've been wanting for years.
I don't.
Don't finish that sentence.
You
Yeah.
said the same thing about Syndicate.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Oh no, well there was a specific element of
You said I've been wanting this for
I
years.
wanted them to address the whole Jack the Ripper thing for a long time.
Yeah. No,
And
yeah,
that
Nick
was
had.
I was
he had.
pretty
But,
excited
like,
about that, and not to mention I was still going off of that. There was a cocktail time a long time ago where Joseph pitched his Assassin's Creed that takes place in London, and it got me really fucking excited.
Rock hard.
Rock hard, and we got Assassin's Creed in London, and it wasn't quite that, but it was
Yeah.
still good.
But
hey,
Nick's rocking
but
an
Egypt-
obelisk for this game.
But Egypt is exactly the location I wanted them to do for a long time.
I will
so.
not flick your obelisk.
And then what?
And then what?
Antarctica.
Then they got to do feudal Japan.
no,
They
Antarctica.
don't have to do anything.
Feudal
Like,
Japan would be
The
sick.
Mayans.
And then they're done.
the Mayans.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Some sort of like maybe,
This is the conversation.
Russia.
maybe somewhere in the Amazon.
Russia.
They can do anything anywhere. Like why should they like
Soviet
if they-
Union,
Why should they
Communist Russia.
not
The
do a
comic book did
location
Russia.
because you roll your eyes to the back of your head when someone says feudal Japan? Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
No, they can do
Like, I would-
whatever they
like,
want.
I
That's
would-
sick as hell.
It
Anyone here play
Chris-
Neo? That was pretty
Who cares?
good.
I mean, that's just one man.
But like a lot of people seem to have that reaction.
I am but a man.
I think people have been
Do
asking
they?
for feudal
Yes,
Japan
I've heard-
since that second game.
I have actually listened to other podcasts where someone was talking about Assassin's Creed. They were like, if they ever do feudal Japan, I am
Hold
done.
on. What about Malaysia?
Anywhere.
And you could
Anywhere.
assassinate the prime minister of Malaysia.
They could do anywhere. They could do modern day Montana if they want.
Obey my dog.
Oh my God! What if that rumor was actually not about Far Cry? It was actually about Assassin's Creed. It takes place in modern day Montana.
Oh my God! What would you fucking do?
The highest building is like 2
Kill that
stories.
tree.
Hide behind that fucking tumbleweed.
Quick, hide behind that tree. Kill that tree.
What about 2017 Washington D.C.?
Follow that tree.
Oh shit! Topical.
Oh God.
There's an obelisk there too. Oh.
Oh my God.
All right. Anyway.
Anyways, I'm sure in the coming weeks we'll be talking about the actual reveals of both of these games because I would be willing to bet money that there will be at least a trailer for both of these games out before the end of the month. So,
Guys, do y'all know that 1 month from now we'll be in
E3?
LA?
E3.
Oh shit.
Yeah, which means
God,
we're going to
we-
be seeing a lot of shit coming
We gotta-
out before E3.
We got to start planning some shit, don't we?
Yeah.
Well,
Eh.
we've already kind of started.
Let's just
but
fucking wing it.
no, fuck you.
Yeah, we show up at Chai's, go, hey man, what's up?
We do have our first appointment.
What's good?
All right. So yeah,
I don't
let's-
like Chris Davis jumping on Namco just because they have Ace Combat. But I guess we shouldn't talk about that. on the feed.
news. Or not. Sorry, news is over.
Man.
And Godzilla
Community.
potentially.
Come on, Nolan. That's your cue.
It's a community.
There it
We
is.
should- we should-
I
we
was-
should get-
I was like, I hope Crispy gets this cue. and does it.
We should get a community intro. It's like, all right, community.
rap.
What? Oh, shut up, Brad. You can't do that. You can't redo that.
Community.
All right, so community, we love you.
We do.
We have one new patron this week.
We do.
Cobra.
Cobra. Oh.
Cobra.
Wait, did we not? Was he not?
Cobra.
Because I definitely
Cobra.
remember going Cobra.
I think he probably just made a new patron account.
Yes. So I get to do it again.
Yeah.
Cobra.
So
Thank you, Cobra.
let's get to some.
Oh, he was a Twitch subscriber.
It
and
might
now
have been
he's
a
Patreon.
Yeah, it might have been a new
Patron.
Twitch sub that you're thinking of.
Yes.
Let's get to some questions from our patrons.
Let's do that. It's like one of my favorite parts of the show.
First question this week from Nick the Batman.
Nick the Batman.
What are some of the most blatantly obvious signs of cut content you've seen in games?
Oh, in Nier Automata, you go up to these elevators, and there's a robot in front that says, "You can't go beyond this. I apologize." Have you seen those guys?
No, I haven't.
What? There's like several of them in the game.
That's
Really?
weird.
Yeah, there's like a robot apologizing that you can't go beyond this point, and it's like, was there supposed to be something here?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's
Where the
weird.
fuck are those?
There's a few of them. It's weird.
And they're like, because that's where the DLC is gonna go.
I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, I would assume that would be DLC. Like that's kind of a
but
way
like,
to like.
but like the way the robots are so apologetic,
Yeah.
and I think they even like
Kind
kill
of new.
themselves to give you stuff.
what the fuck? They commit seppuku.
Yeah. Like,
Oh, that's what that was. I did meet a robot who
Yeah.
was like, you can't go in here, and then he kills himself. He blows up, and you can just like pick up all his shit. Like,
Yeah.
what the
Interesting.
fuck was that?
I think Chris Davis would like us to mention Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
whatever. I mean, allegedly.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this: Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver had a ton of cut content.
The first thing that jumped to my mind is Beyond Good and Evil 2. Or not, sorry, Beyond Good and Evil. Sorry.
Yeah.
Beyond Good and Evil. There is a certain point in that game where it just feels like they suddenly switch gears and like, all right, we're doing the ending now.
It's not. It's not just that, but like throughout Beyond Good and Evil, you're collecting pearls, and it's like sort of the major currency for the game, and it's also the way things are kind of gated. They're almost like stars in like Mario 64 or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
But imagine like a story-driven Mario 64 where you're getting these stars, you're getting these stars, you're getting these stars, and by the time you get to like 50. You just go into a cave and they give you like 20 of them. And they're like, all right, go finish the game. Like, that's what Beyond Good and Evil was like.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
How about,
it's blatant.
How about Knights of the Old Republic 2?
Uh,
Like the whole like back half of
Yeah.
it.
Hey, you know what?
Poop, and they took
Good.
out a bunch of shit.
What about that No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky.
Doesn't.
I don't know if that's the same thing, but I see
Because it
where
was
you're
never
going.
there to begin with.
That's true.
cut
I can't think of a whole lot off the top of my head.
If
I know
if anything else comes to mind, I'll bring
Fable.
it up. Fable
Those
felt
cut
remarkably
promises.
Well, no, there's definitely some stuff in Fable where you could tell they were about to do some shit here and then they didn't.
Yeah.
That definitely happened. Yeah, Fable 3 had there was definitely stuff that was kind of all right.
Recore was a huge one
yeah.
because you were even getting parts for the robot that didn't make it into the game.
Oh wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and there was like a whole area that you couldn't just get to because you needed that robot to like traverse over that land. And then they said like, oh well, it'll come as DLC. That DLC never came out. There's still.
Oh god.
Oh man.
Wow. All right, let's move on. Next question. Next question from Nexus. What is your personal favorite game/series purely based on its world building and lore?
World building. And
Well,
maybe Dragon Age for me.
Dragon Age is pretty good.
Ooh.
And so, I think some people might say Souls, but that's honestly my least favorite thing about the Souls games.
Yeah.
Is their world building and lore.
Disagree.
I would.
And you're definitely allowed to disagree.
That's kind of a weird one, but
How is that a weird one?
I mean, that's like the one thing that like keeps me going, and I always want to see what's around next corner. What?
But that's not
That's
lore
not
or world
lore.
building. That's
Yeah.
I want to find out the new cool enemies and new weapons
This
and
is-
stuff.
this
For me, it is like a lot of that weird, airy, like uncertain.
I think you're confusing world building for like set pieces and game design.
There is a lot of
There's
lore
definitely
there.
a continuity to the lore.
I wouldn't claim to understand all of it or know about all of it, but like
I don't know anything about Souls
it's-
lore, but I love those games. You know? But there's a
You
clear
can't tell me
divide
I'm
there.
wrong.
Like, we don't need to have this argument because since the beginning of Demon Souls, people have been like, I'm really into the lore. I fucking watch all these videos and shit, and I know exactly how it's connected. And there's always been people like, I don't give a fuck. There's big cutscenes. It doesn't matter. Like, that has been going on for the past 10 years or so.
I'm just saying, I thought
What Nolan says is valid, just like what you would say is valid. It doesn't matter. Does anybody have
I'm not
any?
saying what he's saying is valid. I was just explaining why I disagreed. I'm going to name a couple here that I think do a really good job of building.
It can't be Star Wars or Batman.
No, it's not Star Wars or Batman. And it's not Star Wars or Batman. That I think like even certain games that I think maybe even like their contribution to world building and lore, quote unquote, is even better than the game itself. Perfect example of this, like Chris Davis said, Dishonored. Great
Yes.
example. That is a really interesting, cool world. It's so interesting that I almost want to explore it outside of a Dishonored game. I don't want to have to play another Dishonored game to get more of that world.
By
You
the
know what
way,
I'm saying?
but you fuckers all should play Dishonored
Yes,
too if you haven't.
absolutely.
I'm playing Prey. It's the same thing.
Mass Effect is another one that I think its world often outshines even the best parts of that franchise. Like the even when those games are fucking fantastic, the world is still like the thing that's like keeping you going, that's keeping you driven. This one might not count, but I think The Witcher is a perfect example.
yeah.
But a lot of that's done in novels, not just in the game. So that kind of doesn't really count. But the Witcher world is super cool. It's super well done.
I have a couple to kind of build off of the same concept that you're going over, which is, in a lot of cases, sometimes the lore outshining the game itself. I think Bioshock was a pretty good example.
Yes.
Even
for
going
sure.
from Bioshock 1 to
Definitely.
even to Infinite, whether you like Infinite or not, I know a lot of people don't like that game very much, but I think that adds to the lore, and like that whole universe feels really, really, really interesting from top to bottom.
Vital. Yes.
I'll go ahead and say Assassin's Creed. I know that's a very divisive topic, and I feel like honestly, the problem with that series is they have
They certainly
given
put a
up.
lot of shit out
They've
there.
given up on
at
like
this point,
the lore.
At this point, you know how people like creatives in the industry, whether it's movies or games or whatever,
creatives.
likes to talk about like not writing by committee and not like taking into account fan feedback, but like not letting it affect their vision.
Yeah.
I feel like Assassin's Creed is a perfect example of a creative team committed to a vision and then seeing some negative feedback and then completely just giving
Doing
up
an
on that
about
vision
face,
halfway
yeah.
through.
Yeah.
When I feel like it would
They should have stuck with
They
it and
should have
improved
stuck
it.
with their fucking original vision, whether people like it or
Stuck
not.
by your guns, yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of the sticking point for that franchise, is that now nobody knows what the fuck it actually is or what story they're trying to tell, because they literally killed off the story they were trying to tell 2 games ago. And now it's like they're continuing to make games, but like what?
Honestly,
what
so
does it all
hold on.
mean?
So I will say, Nick, some of the early Assassin's Creed games did have some really fucking interesting lore, and I was kind of curious as to what the fuck. As soon as Alien showed up, I was like, wait, what the
Yes,
fuck?
I love that shit.
So I will agree that there was some interesting stuff going on, but the way they handled it wasn't the best, and yeah, people poo-pooed it, and then they were like, you know what, fuck it, drop it, just
Well, they've
forget
gotten away from it from a couple games, and I think. This is my personal opinion, but if they're gonna try and really reinvigorate Assassin's Creed like they seem to be talking about doing with this new one, they need to get that shit back on track. There needs to be some kind of overarching world lore that they're trying to tell or make a statement about with this story.
Right.
And I feel like the past 2 games have just been they've kind of completely forgotten about that.
Oh yeah, they've definitely been just like throwing shit at the wall,
Yeah.
and some of the best stuff has come out of that. But there's 2 more that I want to make special mention of. One of them pertains that I think I don't know how you're going to agree with me on this. Final Fantasy Tactics. That is a game where like I think I'm more interested in the world and the story behind what's going on there than I am in actually playing the game again. I almost want to read a novel that's just like the Final Fantasy Tactics version of Ivalice,
Yeah.
I just want to know more about that. Another good one that I think is probably going to be contentious for some people is Destiny. That is a game where like this one's contentious because it's not even that they've built like a well-rounded, fully formed world, which they haven't. But some of the elements and some of the concepts and some of the ideas that they've added into it to try to like flesh it out are really cool. And I think if they just pick some of the better ideas that they've just like thrown into flavor text here, or thrown into like a cutscene here, or thrown into a brief interaction there, if they were to actually stitch that all together and try to make an actual continuity out of it, I think they could have something really special. I don't think they have much incentive to do that, but if they did, I think there's just some really just fucking. I want there to be more depth to Destiny than there actually is, and I think they've got enough talent, and I think they've got enough cool ideas there to do it. I just don't know if they're ever actually going to.
But you like the lore and the world building.
But yes, I like the world building more than I like the lore. Like the actual like lore of the story, like the idea of the Guardians and the tower and the Traveler and all that stuff is really cool. They just don't do anything interesting with it. You know what I mean?
Did they ever explain how the wizard got from the moon to whatever planet
This
he
is what
got
I'm
to?
talking about.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about.
Last honorable mention for me, Silent Hill has always been a big one for me.
Oh yeah.
Silent Hill has fantastic lore. I think it's been kind of uneven, inconsistent, because some of the games are kind of throwaway, like in terms of like what they tried to contribute. But that whole concept has always been fascinating.
Yeah,
to me. I
for
love
sure.
It.
Like
So,
that's a series I've played most of the games in, but I don't actually have a lot of love for. But I think world building and lore is like the best parts of some of the better games in that series.
Am I allowed to say Metal Gear Solid?
Of course.
you are not.
Of course.
You are not.
Of course.
Because the first, 1 through, like, even up through 4 still had some pretty intense shit going on.
Yeah,
5,
absolutely.
But, I definitely enjoyed that.
Without the lore, they would just be really dope games.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, we need.
Yeah, we need
that
to
was a good question.
move on. Quick question here from Cobra. Do you guys feel like game prices are too damn high? I don't know what video games cost in America, $60, but here in Canada, they're $79.99 a pop, and they're the same digitally. It's going to suck once they inevitably cost $100. Well, Cobra, there's this thing called inflation. Yes, sometimes prices go up, but that's also, everything else goes up too. So they're $60 here. I don't know what that is in Canadian dollar dues, but it's probably
It's an official term.
Yeah.
Loonies.
I don't know. I think it's a situation where
I've grown used to it.
they've been kind of hovering around the same price for at least over a decade.
I mean, it is a barrier to entry for a lot.
They used to be higher.
They did actually used to be higher, but
Like, not
I mean,
counting for inflation.
so I mean, I think often digitally you can generally get new games for slightly cheaper digitally, and then often I don't know
A lot of
how it
times
works
it's like $10
in
less.
Canada, but definitely in America, like if they're via Amazon or Best Buy's game. What is Best Buy's thing called? Game Club Unlocked or Gamers Club Unlocked, something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever their thing is,
Yeah.
you can generally get like 20% off a brand new game. And so I think, and yeah, through things like Green Man Gaming and stuff, you can generally get newer games for cheaper. So I mean, wait, what is it?
Yeah, people always say our games cost more, but the minimum wage in Canada is $10.85.
In Canadian dollars.
Yeah, but they pay for everything in Canadian dollars.
I know, but I'm saying like
They also have free healthcare, Brad.
what I'm saying is you can't compare costs of game across regions and say we pay more because it's not really.
In Brazil, don't
What is
they
our
pay
minimum
like
wage here now?
ungodly
Is it
amounts of
8?
money?
What's our minimum wage here now? 8.
I have no idea.
It's like
Not as high as
it
it
might
should
still be like 7 something.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, but like in Australia, like games are really expensive, but their minimum wage is like $17. So I don't know.
I mean, the quick
Nick,
answer
the
is
minimum
I do
wage.
think
The minimum wage in the United States is. Oh, that's from July 2015. That can't be right at all.
Well, no, I absolutely.
I mean, July
think so.
2015, it was $7.25.
oh my god. I will say this, like
$7.25.
$60 a pop is a lot to ask. But at the same time, the games cost a lot to make. And I would like them to keep making them.
Super Nintendo games
And
are like
they've-
$80.
They've given me many days, months, weeks, years of entertainment. So I don't
I
have
think
my, I don't-
it's also a situation where find a game. If it's a game's coming out and it's $80 and it's a game that is not going to be long. Maybe don't buy it right away. Maybe hold off on that game. I'm trying like
just
Resident
about-
Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 is a great example. Nick, calm down. It's a short game. Maybe don't buy it day one if you don't have the money for it. Maybe buy something like Prey or like an online game or something that Persona. A Persona game is cost per hours. You're gonna play that game for hundreds of hours if you're into this. If you're into it, I'm saying maybe yeah. I'm not just saying. I don't speak for everybody, but if you're hurting for money, like maybe try and buy the games that you can get a little more dollar per hour out of
And
it.
then Redbox or GameFly Resident Evil.
That's a good Red boxing games is never a bad idea.
games cost a lot, but there's never been more options than there is now as far as to how you secure
Just
those games.
stop being poor.
Oh,
Phantasy Star 4, which was a Sega Genesis game, was $99.99 at launch.
Wait, what was?
Phantasy Star 4, a Sega Genesis game, was $100 at launch. Like game prices used to be all over the place.
Yeah. That was a joke, obviously. I just
yeah,
wanna-
we know, Chris.
I don't actually think
I'm
that
not
poor people
really
should
an
stop
asshole.
being poor.
I'm just making a joke.
Yeah.
Nolan, any
Yeah.
other questions?
Yes. Sorry.
If you really want to get the most
I was looking
bang
at minimum
for your
wage
buck,
information.
God damn it.
don't buy the Order 1886 at launch.
Who has the worst handwriting of 4Player? Asks Arxidus. Who has the best?
I have the worst.
I bet Nick has the best.
I do have the best.
I mean, I would say probably Bernadette.
Nick's
has the
handwriting's like a girl's handwriting.
it is.
best. Yeah. I'm like
gotta-
somewhere
I
in
He
the
dots
middle.
his eyes with little
I-
circles.
I had terrible handwriting in first grade. My first grade teacher was like, "We got to work on this," and she gave me like a special book, and I had to write in that book every day. And by the time I was done with that book, I had really good fucking
So
handwriting.
why
and
are
I
girls
still,
better at handwriting?
They probably write more than boys.
But I mean, well,
They write notes to each other.
but they want that to look. I feel like it starts earlier than that. I think it's a social construction. I think that they.
We need to stop this.
Yeah.
This is sexist.
I'll tell you.
I think so.
I'll tell you what though. The past few years, my
You know what?
handwriting
If I
is-
have a daughter, I'm gonna break her fingers.
oh my god,
But she'll
My
have iPads. She won't need to write.
Yeah, jeez.
All paper will be electronic in the
she
future.
won't need fingers anymore. My handwriting in
You'll
the
have to
past
break
few years
her
has
feet,
actually
too.
started to get a little bit worse.
Probably because you write less.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's bad.
I don't know. Like my thing is like my quick handwriting is not great, but if I slow down, I can make it look pretty nice. But yeah, nowhere near as good as Bernadette's. Bernadette constantly gets complimented on her handwriting, and
We
I'm
should
like,
all-
Bernadette has sent me letters in the mail for
can't
like
be
your
right,
wedding and
though.
stuff that have
a
such
doctor.
good handwriting on them. I feel bad. It's been like months, and I feel bad just the thought of taking it and putting it in the trash because it looks like she spent like hours.
She's like a quill. And
Like a quill with ink and just fucking just.
We should all take handwriting samples and compare them and put this issue.
I don't want to make you guys feel bad. All right.
Zodiac killer kind of thing. We're going to analyze. Anyway, final question from the evening from Sunny, essentially asking, are we going to do a Prey spoiler cast?
We should.
I think we absolutely should.
I honestly want to do a spoiler cast. I don't like calling.
By the way,
that.
I think we have kind of a working title for these extra podcasts.
Because I don't like calling them spoiler casts.
So we can stop calling them spoiler. We're going to start calling these 4-player plus. Is that cool?
4-player plus.
4-player plus. Because we're going to be doing other like popcorn casts, spoiler casts, whatever. They all kind of fall into the same category. I hate saying spoiler
I didn't
casts.
come up with that name.
No, you did not.
I don't like it.
I know.
Okay. I want to do them for fucking every game that comes out, but it's just more of like a time thing.
It's also
I'm fine
finding
doing
the
one
right
with
game
Prey.
to do it. Like we just recorded one last weekend for Horizon. And we ended up talking for like an hour and a half about that game. And I'm getting, I got the audio ripped and everything today, so I'll get that up in the next day or so. Maybe in the same day I get this podcast up. But yeah, I mean, I think Nier would be a great one, especially since now Crispy and Brad. I would just love to hear a conversation between these two. Just
Per our
talking about
conversation earlier, I want to have a Guardians of the Galaxy one. Or popcorn cast, 4-player plus.
I would be.
Sure. People have some opinions on that.
In fact, I want to go watch it again and then have that podcast.
You want to go watch it with me?
Yes, let's go again.
Yeah. You fucker. You haven't even gone to see Power Rangers with me yet.
Wait, did you see Power Rangers?
No.
Is that in theater still?
No.
Is it?
No.
Is it even out yet?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it came out and is gone.
Oh, fuck.
Like,
Well, there's a dollar theater right near me. Y'all can, when it comes to that.
I will be honest, we have talked a little. Brad's been trying to get us to do a. We will do it.
I think it's like the coolest thing in the world.
I know, he's really proud of this idea. He wants us to do a popcorn cast for Assassin's Creed, the movie. It just means I have to watch the movie.
Yeah, that's the downside.
we're going to do that.
Come on, like how can
We're gonna do that.
How can y'all not like? How are y'all not at least like?
I am
curious?
interested.
Like
I am
staring
curious.
at a train wreck.
Dude, it's Michael Fassbender. I mean,
That's true. Don't you want to see Michael Fassbender's first like poor Hollywood decision?
yes.
I don't know. I think he's definitely made a couple before.
See, you haven't even seen it and you're already assuming it's garbage. I mean,
Yeah,
I know
mean,
you've read reviews
it
and you
is.
think it's garbage. Like,
Yeah,
make
well-
up your own mind. Watch the movie yourself and then tell me if you think it's garbage.
That's like looking into a dumpster
Wait,
at something on fire and be
is
like,
your-
don't assume it's garbage.
Is your fear
Don't
that you
assume
might?
it's on fire. Don't you assume.
Nick, is your fear that you might really like it?
I mean, I'm not scared of that. If I like it, I'll tell you I like
Okay,
it.
no, I'm just.
He's terrified.
I mean, I'll tell you this right now. If I watch it and I like it, I'm not going to be on that popcorn cast.
Oh, I'm kind of busy. I can't do it.
Come on, man! It ain't that serious.
It is very serious.
I guarantee you, if they made like a Final Fantasy Tactics movie, you think I wouldn't want to be at least be fucking curious?
All right, well, that's all the questions for this week. Thanks to all our patrons for asking questions. We
seen
post
the
a thread
Tomb Raider
every
movies.
week. You can ask any question you like, and we will probably answer it.
Yep. And you can find us on Patreon, patreon.com/4player.
Fuck it. If they do the Assassin's Creed popcorn cast, I'll do a Tomb Raider movie popcorn cast with Jack.
Which movie?
All of them?
Well, there's two of them.
Both of them?
Wait.
And there's a new one
Just
coming
wait
out.
for
I
that
thought
new
that-
one.
Yeah, we'll wait for the new one, and we'll do all three.
Well, they're not. Those three aren't
At
supposed to
the
be
same
connected.
time.
No, I know, but
Be a
two of them
foursome.
are.
Shit, I forgot that Michael Fassbender was in Prometheus. He's already been in a bad movie.
Oh.
I got tickets for
Hey,
Alien next week.
but
I'm
that
fucking
doesn't make it a
excited.
bad Hollywood decision.
No,
Being in an
he did
Assassin's
well. He did well in the movie.
Creed. Oh, he was the best fucking part of
but
that
the movie sucked.
Yeah. Why didn't she
You
just
just
go
want to
right
say
or
that
left?
movie sucked.
Why didn't she just
You're
go
not
right or
actually
left?
saying anything.
I know that is the only thing about that movie that like just keeps me up at night.
That's
I think.
become a fucking meme.
Okay. The
Right or
script
left?
sucked.
I know.
The way it was shot.
Okay,
you
we
just wanna
have to
talk
have
about
this
how much you don't
conversation
like
again. Oh my god, I fucking hate anytime anyone brings that movie up. By the way, I got my
Alien
tickets.
Covenant looks
I got my
good.
tickets for Covenant next week. I'm fucking excited.
You got pretty good reviews.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping for like 98, but I guess that was hoping too much.
Yeah. Be happy.
All right, let's finish this fucking show off. It's gone for this second segment's gone long.
Yeah.
4-player minute.
Oh,
hype
shit.
sweat. Fuck you. Thank you, Brad. You hope you're ready because it's
Oh,
your
God,
turn. Oh my
no.
god, just wing it.
My thank you goes to Farrakhan because the man. Apparently, on a previous podcast, was I talking shit about Farrakhan never gives me anything?
Yeah, probably. It sounds like you.
Well, I mean, if I said that, it was purely as a joke, but he gifted me some stuff
Oh, you
on
just
Steam. It's
bullied somebody into
No, I
giving you
did. Well,
games.
it was like ages ago.
You're essentially stealing someone's lunch money.
But Farrakhan never gave me any game.
No, I think he did. I think he was the one who did gift you something. Well, whatever.
The community never gives me free shit.
I think I was talking shit about Farrakhan not showing up to my streams. Was my big problem. But he gifted.
He still doesn't do that.
Maybe I won't go into details, but he gifted me a few things, and it was very kind of him. I will be playing Vanquish when it comes out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
That's pretty good.
Nice.
Which, by the way, is in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jesus.
Oh, we didn't mention that in the news.
No.
Yeah.
My fuck you, I'm going to give it to SquareEnix this week because why the fuck not, you fucking idiots. And it's not just like the shit with IO Interactive and poor decisions involving like Tomb Raider and like Legacy of Kain and all that shit. But I just think about back to like the Square days of the 90s. You know, I've been actually kind of thinking a lot about PS1 games lately, and Squaresoft in the PS1 era was, oh my god, they were they were everything. And my damn, it wasn't just RPGs,
Oh,
man.
how
It
the
was
mighty have fallen.
everything. So fuck you. You're gonna get rid of IO Interactive and give all that money to Kingdom Hearts, and you're only gonna focus on like the non-Disney characters. I already hate you. I kind of want.
What if Hitman's in the new Kingdom
Fuck off.
They should absolutely do shit like that. I mean, Jack Sparrow was in fucking
Oh, I
Kingdom Hearts.
forgot
That's
about
because
that.
he's a Disney character.
Yeah.
No, I know, but so was every Square Enix fucking character now. But it doesn't matter because they don't focus on Cloud, Strife, and Jack Sparrow or in the cool Tron world. They focus on Organization 13, and oh, those games are so terrible. And I kind of want to like.
Oh my god, never mind. This is never mind. I'm sorry. You're pushing my buttons.
Oh, he likes Organization 13.
No, I like Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, I love Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, it sounds like you hate it when you're talking.
No, he loves Kingdom Hearts. He just hates what Kingdom Hearts is.
No, I hate what it became.
Boy.
Which is, it's we're waiting on 3, and there's actually been 40 games in the series, and that's the problem with Kingdom Hearts, where all those went. But I love Kingdom Hearts, and I wanted to play it like with Malia, because she has a lot of love for like these Disney worlds and stuff. And I was like, well, let's watch a trailer for 1.5, 2.5 remix, and all they showed was just the worst, like my biggest fears.
Was
of
this
what-
Square Enix bullshit?
No, not Square. It's not
like
Square
the-
Enix bullshit.
like the Organization
it's the original
13 and kinda like,
bullshit
yeah.
that's terrible. Like the angsty teen. Only a 13-year-old could like this stuff.
Haley Joel
kind of
Osment.
stuff.
I did pick up that PS4
No,
collection.
but that is
Oh my god.
Square Enix shit.
So like I was hyped to replay Kingdom Hearts for you guys, but I don't think it's gonna happen anymore. And my hype and sweat are for the same game. I will be picking up the new Fire Emblem. I learned that the new Fire Emblem is very different than what I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was just gonna be, oh, this is a remake of an old Fire Emblem game, so it's gonna be a Fire Emblem without all the modern waifu bullshit, which kind of really turned me off of Fates. And left me kind of at the end of Awakening. But this is a remake of like a Gaiden game, of like kind of a Fire Emblem spin-off where they were doing a lot of weird shit. There's 3D dungeon exploration in this new Fire Emblem game.
What?
Yeah, it's different, man. There's no weapon triangle. It is the way they do tactics is completely different. But like,
The rock, paper, scissors.
no, it's gone. It's gone, man. But like, it's exciting because at the same time, like, this is the first fully voice acted Fire Emblem
It's not
game.
rock, paper, scissors now, it's Connect 4.
This is the longest minute
It's
ever.
it's the first fully voice acted Fire Emblem game. So
That's cool.
yeah, I'm really excited about that. But
So
you know,
automatically better than Persona 5.
yeah. Yeah,
least when it
my
comes to
fears
voice
are like, is this even gonna be even the old Fire Emblem that I like? I hear the map design's bad. We'll see. I will be picking it up, but it's my hype and my sweat. Nolan, go.
Go. So J52 made a very good comment, and he made a reference to MC Chris's Kingdom Hearts versus Resident Evil 4 video, which is fantastic. We can watch it after the show. It's really short. So anyway, my 4-player ministers now. My hype is for more Prey. Like this time last week, I was not that excited. I was like medium warm for the game. But after 8 hours in, I can't wait to play more of it.
Fully wrecked.
Yes. Obelisk is peaking right up there. Speaking of, that leads into my second hype, which is for Assassin's Creed. We haven't seen much of this game, but if they are going in the correct direction, which is getting better, like they did with Syndicate, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the potential that this ancient Egypt kind of thing could.
I'm just glad they took 2 years, man.
Yeah, no, take their time. Take their time. My thank you is for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I really enjoyed that movie. I was kind of worried going into it, and it's another of those situations where I was like, I don't know if it's gonna hold up to the first one, but I actually liked it a lot. I'm glad. I went and saw it with Bernadette, and she enjoyed it too. So I'm glad. I always hate when I drag her to a movie I really want to see, and I'm like, she's gonna hate it.
Yeah.
But she really liked it too, so I'm glad that happened.
I like the raccoon.
I like Drax.
Yeah.
Drax is like my favorite.
the trash panda.
He's the same as the robot from Rogue One, who was the best part of Rogue One.
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk, right?
K2SO, yeah. And then my fuck you is same as Brad's. It goes to SquareEnix. And like, come on, man. Like, come on.
Yeah, fuck you. Season 2 was going to be great. There was going to be an amusement park with haunted houses.
Yes. And he'd dress up in like the fucking outfit, and he'd be like a Pluto or
Y'all
something.
just making this worse for
Space
yourself.
station. He was going to go to space. I just know it.
Oh. All right, Crispy.
My hype this week is for Divinity Original Sin 2.
Ooh.
Specifically for the newly announced GM
That
mode.
should have been in the news because that's kind of a big thing.
That's fucking
I didn't hear about that.
crazy.
Oh my
Yeah, so they
God.
announced a new mode for Divinity Original Sin 2 that is literally a game master mode.
Oh, yeah,
where,
yeah. Sorry, I did hear about that.
Where a game master can run a game for like 4 other players, and you have a full suite of tools at your disposal for making maps, for making encounters, for dice rolls, skill checks, everything. It's crazy, and it fits very well into the Divinity combat style, which has always been turn-based.
Yeah.
And
Man,
they're
there's a
trying
lot
to
of cool
get
stuff.
Wizards of the Coast on board because they wanted to like convert some of the 5e adventures that they've run, like the Lost Mines of Philandovar or whatever it's called, into it, which would be really, really cool. I mean, it won't be Dungeons and Dragons. It'll be Divinity because the characters and the way they work are very, very different. But still, it's a really cool tool.
A lot
And
of cool
it seems,
tools.
it seems like.
Did you watch any of the actual playthroughs?
Yeah.
It's cool
Yeah.
that
It-
like they said you could like completely hop out of one map and start working on stuff in another.
Yeah.
While other people are still exploring one map, so like you can start setting up like crazy ambushes that reflect the way maybe the story is
Of
unfolding.
like what they're doing,
you know?
it
cool.
seems very reactive, very
cool.
responsive. I mean, you can do things like you can just like make custom magic items on the fly just by deciding what it is, choosing all its attributes, its levels, everything it does. It is really cool. It looks like a lot. It looks like it might take some figuring out, and it might be one of those things that doesn't really come into its own until there's like a big community of people who've generated content for it. But it looks fucking awesome. I think we should fucking try it out. Like, I think we should give
we
it
could be convinced.
a whirl. Looks really great, and it makes me brings me to my sweat, which is that now it really makes me want to play the first Divinity Original Sin.
Carlos got into it recently.
Yeah, which I mean,
once you're not worried about like Game of the Year videos and shit, you can
That's
really
true.
play anything.
yeah, you
The
can
problem
really
is
just do
the
it.
worry for that starts around August.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, you could just play anything.
Once you're
I
getting-
bet we've already all played 10 games that were awesome this
Once
year.
you start getting mean emails from Chris Davis.
but like, just don't.
God, let him finish.
But yeah, I do actually really want to go back and play Divinity Original Sin, which I have on Steam, so I might actually do that. I don't have a fuck you for the week, really. I mean, I'll give it to Square Enix just because that whole IO Interactive thing is.
Or EA. You can give it to EA.
I'll give it to EA because fuck EA for putting Mass Effect on ice, just because it hasn't. just because they haven't given it room to succeed and then are punishing it for not succeeding.
Yeah.
You know, like this is entirely a hell of their own making. I feel. Maybe I'm being ignorant. I don't know, but it seems like their problems with the game were all kind of compounded by how they chose to fund it and what kind of development schedule they gave it. You know,
Yeah.
which isn't fair. That's a great series. It deserves to be around. It deserves to thrive, and they're kind of doing everything they can to prevent that.
Yeah.
My thank you goes to everybody who checked out my cast last night when I finished Nier Automata, however you would say that. Specifically for heavily encouraging me to completely finish it last night, which I ran longer than I expected to. I stayed up a little later than I intended to, but I'm very much glad I did. I'm glad that you all convinced me to do it, and I'm glad that I had people to share it with, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
it was weird. Like, that was, that was one of the few times I've been playing a game and I was really like, I'm glad that there's other people to, like, experience this with me at the same time.
Yeah.
Like that was some shit, man.
Man, I can't wait to experience that
But
shit.
that's it.
Cool. Thank you, Crispy. My 4-player minute starts now. I have several hypes and a thank you this week.
Oh, you're welcome.
Not you.
Oh, fuck you.
My first hype is split between Far Cry and Assassin's Creed. I'm very, very eager to find out what both of those games are. I'm especially excited to see. I mean, I'm excited for Assassin's Creed. I think I definitely want to know more about that project. But I also kind of am just like, first of all, the Western theme setting. You know, the fact that it takes place in Montana, like, just to me implies that structurally, at a base level, this Far Cry has to be somehow different than the previous ones. It can't just be. It's not like a reskinning of Far Cry 3 and 4, because Montana is a complete, especially if it's present day Montana is a completely different animal. So I want to know what the fuck that means for Far Cry. My second hype goes to Alien Covenant, which comes out next Friday. Very, very excited for that. Got some sweet Alamo Drafthouse pant glasses with those as well. It's got a nice face hugger on it. I'm pretty excited. I don't know. I hope that movie turns out better than Prometheus did.
I mean,
That's all I'm going to say. I
shouldn't be hard.
I did not hate Prometheus, but I also do hope that Alien Covenant is a much stronger, better film than Prometheus. One way or another, I like that. I love that universe. It's had its fair share of questionable entries in the franchise, but I've, at some base level, at least enjoyed most of the movies in that series. So I don't see any reason why I wouldn't enjoy this one. So I'm excited. My last hype is going to go to Turok 2. I'm still making progress in that. I'm on the second to last level now. I'm in the Hive of the Mantids, which is one of my favorite levels. It's the one that's dramatically different from all the other ones because it's super vibrant. It's like this insect hive it's like you're inside of a giant alien wasp nest.
How long did it take you to get there? How long is that game?
I mean, I probably spent an average of about 2 hours per level, maybe a little bit more, and that's 4 levels. I'm on the 5th level, so
There's only 6 levels?
only 6 levels. Yeah,
Of
Turok 2.
oh, okay.
So I would say, when the time that's all said and done, it's probably like a 12-hour game if I was guessing. And my thank you goes to Burnsy for first of all for sending this care package with candy and whatnot that you guys have been snacking on.
Yeah, thank you,
during the
Burnsy.
episode.
I'm
But
sorry,
also
the Tim Tams.
I did not see this coming. He sent me this like really wonderful, sweet ass Dark Souls like hoodie, which sweatshirt or whatever the fuck you want to call this. It's a fucking Praise the Sun hoodie. I love it.
Who wear? Never mind. I'm not even gonna.
I'm never gonna stop wearing this. I'm gonna wear. Actually, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna take this off when we leave because it's like 80 degrees outside. But
No
yeah,
one's sitting
thank you
in
very much. It
Souls
was very
sweater.
nice. He sent it to me because I stuck to my guns and I fucking finished 3 Dark Souls games in 1 year, which is, was a bit of a challenge. But I really enjoyed it, and this kind of makes me feel like it was all
Dark
worth
Souls
it.
3?
I did.
So, Demon Souls.
I did not finish Demon Souls, but I kind
Well,
of
take the sweater back.
Take it back.
He knows.
Burn it.
I might go back and finish Demon Souls.
Burnsy it.
I mean, it seems like a much more realistic task now that I've finished 4
Yeah.
other Souls games. So, Perhaps I will do that at some point.
Just getting through that first one. That's the.
Nick, it's funny just because you said it's a praise the sun. Like you know his name.
It's got praise the sun on the back of
Do you know his name?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that, but I didn't want to.
Purity check? Purity check? Is that what this is? Leave
Leave
him alone!
Don't do it. Don't do it.
That's fine.
Well, you've already done it, and I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's
No.
fine. Dude, my memory fails me all the time. It's not a big
You
deal.
know, I can't even remember what I had for lunch yesterday. Literally, I could not tell you.
It has to do with the sun.
Solieri.
Isn't it?
No.
I always thought it was like solitaire.
Salieri?
No, it's close.
Solieri.
Solitaire?
There's no T.
Solaire?
There you
Solaire.
go. You got it, Nick. See, you got it.
Solaire of...
Fuck off. All of you can fuck the fuck off. Oh my god. Fuck every one of you. Fuck off. Oh my god. Fuck off. Good night, everybody. Fuck off.
Solitaire.
Can we just finish the show like this? Just...
Yeah. Well, you have to...